All right.
So
Sam Raimi, he's getting his ass just torn apart by Jon Favreau.
Wait. Do we have to? No, we have to restart. I started. A new
Oh no! I know.
Okay, so
yeah,
just
this is where
go
I'm
right
into
into it.
We had some technical difficulties, and you missed the first part of my story. But my story is I'm like, you know, my evening watchings recently. You know, I'm enjoying Jon Favreau. Illustrious director, Star Wars man. You know, he's doing The Mandalorian. He's doing.
Didn't he do that?
Swingers,
that superhero movie? I think he might have some
yeah.
association with Marvel.
Yeah.
I think, and
yeah,
Disney.
Something.
He did some small films for them.
Yeah, and Disney. I think so. Lion King, right? Did he do what? No.
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie did Aladdin.
Oh
right?
yeah, God.
He did Jungle Book.
Yeah,
right?
he did Jungle Book. And isn't he doing? No. He's doing. Doesn't he have like some other project with them that he's got coming up? I feel like he is definitely paying off, milking the Disney cash cow.
He's fairly wealthy. He has a show on Netflix. He did another movie where he pretended to be a chef. And he has a show on Netflix where he still pretends that he's a chef, but it's more of a cooking show format. And so he'll have his friend Roy Choi there, who's an actual professional chef, and then he, flusters and bumbles around, and they talk to other people. They talk to other chefs. They talk to like celebrity friends or whatever. And one of the great episodes, it's great in a like, ooh God, like I can't stop watching, where he has Sam Raimi come on and they make bread. And apparently, and I've watched like a number of these episodes, and Jon Favreau is not really an expert on anything, but bread must be his fucking shit, because he was like, oh, dude, you don't know how the oven spring works? Oh, yeah, he is just...
He looks like a Pillsbury
pork,
Doughboy in human form, so it's not that... It tracks. But
Favreau, yeah, he's a huge bread nerd, and... So I was telling Mr. Andrew Volpe before we got sidetracked, but Sam Raimi had apparently, like in the lead up to this, or maybe that's how they kind of figured out, oh, you should come on my cooking show. But Sam Raimi, the director, Evil Dead, Spider-Man, all the Tobey Maguire, horrible Spider-Man, Sam Raimi, he had like a dinner party, and Jon Favreau was disgusted by what he produced in the bread starter category, apparently. And just Sam Raimi is like trying to kind of like re-explain how, John came over and he just started tearing my up and like interrogating me about how I set the oven and blah 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 and how long I let the yeast do this and that. And it's brutal to watch. It's like a man just describing like walking in on his wife, and the wife is like, pull up a chair, you know what I mean? But Sam Raimi is it was great because I was like, you know what? This should be a show where you just have successful people like Sam Raimi. He's successful. He's
super
famous,
successful,
fairly wealthy, I assume.
Yeah, he owns his
production watching company. Him just die inside as he can't make bread.
Well,
like having successful people just suck and eat shit at something. That should be a show. Yeah. I'm pitching that to Netflix.
I would definitely watch that. Just because that's a sentence I never, ever thought I would adhere. Jon Favreau giving Sam Raimi shit for his bread. It's like, like a Cards Against Humanity, sentence that you construct or something.
Yeah.
But, that's highly entertaining. And honestly, okay, like that's the thing I like the most about Jon Favreau, because like he's an actor and he's like he seems like a nice, interesting guy. Like he's kind of funny, and like he had another show back in the 2000s that I used to like to watch on IFC that was kind of similar. It wasn't cooking, but it's called Dinner for Five, and it's just he would invite 5 of his actor or musician or artist friends or whatever over, and they would all talk and have a nice conversation. And it was kind of interesting because it was always like, groups of people that you wouldn't normally see around. Or if he had a movie coming out, it was always like the cast members of the movie and stuff. And I feel like he has good dinner parties. And so I'm definitely into seeing that documentary. And I feel like same thing, like the chef movie, even though I haven't seen but like 20 minutes of it or so. It feels like that's so much more in his wheelhouse. Like I kind of like him doing that more than him doing, say, The Lion King or some of these, even some of the more successful big name blockbuster things that he does now that he's kind of known for. Like he kind of like fell into that. Like no one was expecting Iron Man to be a success, and I feel like at his heart he's just kind of like this doughy guy that likes to talk with people and cook food. You know, so
yeah, he seemed great, and in every other episode he seems very friendly and affable, but not when it comes to bread. And I guess Sam Raimi is just the victim of circumstance in this one, because he invited him onto the episode. He can't have beef with Sam Raimi, I assume. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe they're superhero directors. Maybe there's some weird rivalry or something. But like, I mean, he murdered him.
That's fucking hilarious. It's funny because
go check it out, people.
I would love to see that. Yeah, because you know Sam Raimi is one of my heroes, and I always felt like he kind of had a rep for. He could be an asshole sometimes. Like, you know, Bruce Campbell always has crazy stories of the shit that he would do to him. So it would be interesting to see the shoe on the other foot, you know, especially over bread.
Like if you like the weird dominatrix scenes in Billions where Paul Giamatti is getting the shit beat out of him, like you'll dig this episode because it's just weird to watch someone just take punishment. You know what I mean? I don't want to overstate it, but anyway, yeah. The you know, Seth Rogen was on a fun episode, and that's just Seth Rogen doesn't give a fuck. He's just kind of cracking jokes the whole time. He doesn't care, you know. So it's fun, but you know, it takes me into thinking about that goddamn American Pickle.
Yeah. So you told me like right before we started recording that you know, you had just watched that, and I was like, oh crap, I didn't even realize that it was out yet.
I think it just came out today.
Yeah.
Today, we're recording Thursday, July, August.
Time has no meaning. Time is a flat circle.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't matter. But yeah, I mean, it's
how
you know,
how was it? I literally, you know, I feel like I was reading the first press releases about the movie coming out like 2 months ago, and all of a sudden it's out. And what's it on? Apple? You said?
No. I don't pay for Apple. Are you kidding me? I don't have Apple TV.
Right.
Can't have it. It's on HBO Max, baby. The God.
Oh, of course.
It's on that God shit.
The fucking
HBO Max. The God.
The one
shit.
thing I don't have access to. Because
how do you not have HBO Max? You have HBO though, right?
It's not on Roku. That's the thing.
Oh.
They haven't made. I'm betting it's a friggin' copyright and legal quagmire, because I think a lot of the things they can put on HBO Max, like I know they put all the DC stuff on HBO Max, and I'm sure DC is worried about them cannibalizing their content. So there's probably stipulations about it not being on Roku. But that also just leads me to believe like things like that, like DC Universe or whatever, will eventually get bought out by HBO, and that'll dissolve. And I feel like all these smaller streaming companies, or a lot of them, are going to get gobbled up in the streaming wars we're starting to find ourselves in the middle of.
Well, there you go. I mean, from your mouth to God's ears, you know, that's you know, I'm tired of playing cat and mouse and jumping around and you know, why can't some corporate overlord just lord over all of them, you know? But I'm sure. Well, then we'll hate that.
Give it like give it about 6 months.
Yeah, but it's okay, man. It's you know, Simon Rich wrote it. You know, I've liked most of his stuff. Man Seeking Woman, I really liked.
Oh, it's the Man Seeking Woman guy. I used to love that show.
This is the guy. He looks like he's like 12 years old.
Yeah,
but he's like 36, I think, and he like wears he's like a child who dresses like an old man. Have you ever seen him? Like if you Google Simon Rich, whoever you're listening, if you're listening to this, Google Simon Rich right now. He started writing for SNL when he was like, I want to say like 19 years old or something like that. I mean, like 2007. So think about it. We graduated high school in 2005. Whoa. He's 2 years older than us.
Yeah.
So maybe what was he, 22? I'm not great at math.
He
looks super young.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Yeah, he looks like he's still, like, if I pulled him over and I was a cop, I would assume that he has.
I mean, he's gonna be carded until the end of time.
Damn, that
You know,
sucks.
as he, opens the door for his Lamborghini Countach, he will explain that he is not a child that stole this car from his dad.
Yeah,
or
he's
something.
got a Doogie Howser syndrome or something. Like,
There's great he's at like premieres and stuff, and he's got like a hot blonde wife, actress wife or something, and it looks like there's a child.
Yeah, this is my babysitter.
It looks like a right. It looks like Weird Science, where it's like here's Wyatt with Kelly LeBrock or something.
I grew her in my lab last night or whatever.
Exactly, yeah. But so I usually like his stuff. It's usually fine. It's okay, man. It's a weird movie in that it tries to do a few different interesting things, like right in the first 10 minutes, where it's like, hey, let's establish that, and if you're unfamiliar with the plot, basically, a man in 1919 in Eastern Europe, somewhere close to Russia, is basically kind of living a meager, horrible, like ditch digging existence, and manages to, convince a woman to marry him, and they, do the whole immigrant American dream, thing. They come to America. He gets a job in a pickle factory where it's his job to literally smash rats with a hammer just to keep the rodent population in check. And basically, I don't want to spoil any of the plot details, but basically, this is a major.
I mean, it's in the trailer.
He finds himself.
Right?
Yeah, it's in the trailer, right? But he basically falls into a big vat of pickle brine with a bunch of other pickles, and they seal him up. And the way they film it, it's like he kind of seamlessly he falls in, and then it gets sealed, and then the plant gets or the factory gets condemned, and then it just gets abandoned, and then 100 years later, kids, it's an abandoned warehouse in somewhere in in Brooklyn. And kids kind of stumble upon it, looking for something. They flew a drone into the factory, and they're looking for their drone. And they open him up, and then boom, he pops out, and he's alive. And so there's a great scene where they kind of hold a press conference with him, and scientists are trying to explain. And there's a great one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie is kind of the press corps is going like, how do you expect us to believe this, that he was preserved? And then the scientist goes, well, let me explain. And then it breaks the fourth. Seth Rogen's character starts narrating, and he goes, the scientist explained it to the journalist. They were all incredibly satisfied with his response. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they go, wow, okay, that makes perfect sense. They just completely kind of make fun of the fact that it's preposterous.
Yeah, bother explaining. Yeah.
Right. So but it was great. It was like, just turn your brain off.
Right.
Just go with the plot. It's stupid, but just we're all having fun.
Right.
And then it gets, so that is the movie you're introduced to. Like, oh, that's what it's going to be kind of a weird, like, a man from 1919 from
it's going to be a man out of time, literally.
Right. Kind of, whoa, it's crazy. Yeah, it's like a time traveling, and then it takes weirder turns.
Does it have like a unnecessary romantic subplot does it kind of like turn into a different movie?
No, I don't think there is any romance or subplot. It's a buddy film at its core, but it's like a weird like rivalry film. Like I don't want to get too much into it, but basically, Seth Rogen plays both roles, and he is the older he's the he plays I can't remember, Herschel, I think is his name. Mm-hmm. Herschel, who's the man from 1919, and then he plays his great grandson, one great, who's like a app developer trying to sell a mobile app, and he plays both roles. And then they get into this weird kind of, they get into there's a conflict. I don't want to spoil it, but they get into a conflict based on Herschel's actions, and then regular present day Seth Rogen, I'll call him, because that's basically just what he is. Kind of gets upset with them. They get into a fight. They kind of break apart. Herschel starts selling pickles. It has this great kind of initial phase of the story where there's no way this man can possibly succeed 100 years in the future, but it's that old world mentality of like, if you work hard, you can do anything. And I thought that was kind of where this was going to go. Like, pull yourself up by the bootstrap, man. You just get in, work hard, have some ingenuity, stick-to-itiveness. Maybe it was like a lesson of like, hey, let's look back to our ancestors of how they managed. You know what I mean? It wasn't easy for them, but a lot of them came here. We all have like, my uncle came here with $2 in his pocket, and then 30 years later, he's president of some company, right? But like, no one ever explains like, well, what the fuck happened in those 30 years, dude? You know what I mean? Like, how did it actually happen?
Right.
Where do they stay? Where do they live? Like, so it kind of goes into like, he's literally dumpster diving. He's finding jars. He's using rainwater to make pickle. I mean, the whole thing. It's easy. It's interesting how they kind of build the first act into. He's in Williamsburg, which is one of the most insane places I've ever kind of been around, lived. I used to live in Queens, but we'd go into Williamsburg. You and I have walked through Williamsburg with we've done the whole thing in Williamsburg, walked around. And, but so he's basically, he's in a perfect situation because, he's standing, he has a pickle cart basically, and he gets he gets basically just discovered by the Williamsburg population.
Yeah, is he like the artisanal pickle guy or something?
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. Oh, wow. And he's like, please bring back the jar when you're done. And they're like, wow, he reclaims his jars. Like, wow, it's all vegan. It's all natural. It's all rainwater. Wow. Like, they're so up his ass about how rustic it is.
Right. And he probably blends in with the beard and all that sort of stuff too, right?
Right. I mean, there's a great, it's very short, but like a scene where like a, hipster suspenders dude is like enamored with his outfit.
Yeah, nice,
like, wow,
nice
where'd
hat,
you
man.
get that? Wow, that's a nice hat. Where'd you get that? So that's where you kind of think the whole thing's going, and then it just gets like weird and, kind of like just weird and like uncomfortable in a lot of ways because they kind of, it's not really about, Herschel teaching Seth Rogen some life lessons about how he could kind of improve his life, and then he sells his app and he becomes successful because of the lessons his great. That's where you think it's going to go, and you kind of want it to go there, and then it just kind of like, like the younger one gets jealous and they become in conflict, and there's like, it's you start thinking like, oh, you know what? If you could talk to your great grandfather or great grandmother, especially if they were from like another culture, you probably wouldn't want to hang out with them. They'd probably have some ideas about religion and the current
the world today or whatever.
Yeah. So it's just like, oh yeah, like I guess the moral of the story is like, yeah, everyone who lived 100 years ago was probably pretty terrible, because, and it was kind of done in humorous ways and stuff, but you're like, yeah, like I probably wouldn't want to hang out with my 100-year-old relatives if I could. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Maybe I would, maybe I wouldn't, but it kind of just, it kind of like, it just takes you out of it. You know what I mean? It's like they basically.
It sounds like it's like kind of a cynical. It sounds like it's a little bit like darker than you would expect.
Yeah, like it's a weird, man. I feel like it went unnecessarily kind of gross and weird, and it just created. And they go like up and down, and where you think like, oh, that was the conflict, the central conflict. He's gotten through it. He's back. Like, oh nope, they do something else to him, and then just it's like it's made worse. So it's I don't know.
Well, the premise sounds cool for. It's like sounds like one of those plots that would be a good premise for a man seeking woman type of episode, but like it sounds like it can't sustain the 2-hour time limit, right? Is that like
No, I mean the third act I'm like, let's just be done.
Yeah.
Let's can we kind of be done, because they try to go back to some of the original like goofiness that you enjoyed in the first act, and you're like, oh, that's gonna be the tone and the vibe, and then by then you're just kind of like,
yeah, it's too messed up.
You're just like, nah, I can't go back to thinking like that. I can't allow you back into my my head like that. So it's kind of I don't know. It's worth a watch. It's interesting. I really enjoyed the first act. Like the first 20 minutes, I was like, wow, this is great. This is gonna be, you know, this is really interesting. It's a fun take. Let's see what happens. And then by the end, you're just like, oh,
Make
man.
it stop.
Yeah, make it stop. I just it was kind of a shame because I thought it had a lot of potential, but they just I don't know if they the second and third act to me, I was just like, man, this is kind of a little too heavy. I'll just say, you know, imagine
Gets
like,
a little too real.
I don't know how to get into it, but yeah, you know, they put in plot points like let's get him on Twitter. You know, let's see what his tweets are gonna be like. You know, and it's like if you don't like the President Trump's tweets, imagine that times like 1,000.
Right.
Is what 100-year-old Herschel from Central Eastern Europe thinks about like women's rights and stuff like that. Right. So it was just like, oh yeah, I guess, you know, and it's just, I don't know. Anyway, whatever. It's fine. I don't know. Go check it out if you want. If you have the God HBO Max, stream it up.
Well, I will check.
You got to hit the 7 Cs. It up, but maybe not worth the.
I'll use my free Apple account to check that out, so I can justify actually having it.
Well, there you go. So I mean, yeah, go give it a shot. It's not worth spending money on. If it lands on a free streaming site, go for it. I wouldn't. It's not worth $6 to me. I don't know. But yeah, bummer. I thought it would be fun, but it's fun to a point, and then it kind of stops being fun, and it's just like, ew.
Yeah, I feel like Seth Rogen. You know, like I still really respect the guy especially for the amount that he outputs, and he's got a pretty good batting average. But like, you know, I feel like, you know, 1 out of 3 movies or projects kind of misses. Like he'll have like 2 really good ones, and then something that's like a little good idea, but not quite as fully thought out. And I don't know if this was, it sounds like it was more, you know, Simon Rich's project, but yeah.
Yeah, he was good in it. I mean, I think he's fine in it, you know, but he's standard kind of, you know, I mean, he's not like, he's not going to give you weird, crazy performances like Jonah Hill, where you're like, "Holy shit, Jonah Hill! Didn't know you had that in you."
Right.
Like it's kind of like Seth.
Yeah, you know where you're going to get, but
it's like a Bruce Willis. You know, it's kind of he's kind of Bruce Willis.
But I mean,
you know, that's what it is. So he's good. He's fine. But it's weird, man. You never quite get used to hearing him kind of angrily speak in this weird Eastern European like accent. It just you never quite kind of get into it.
Yeah. Well,
but anyway,
we'll wait for the next Rogen masterpiece then.
No, exactly. Yeah, and if you want something else to cleanse your palate, I recommend the Zac Efron show on Netflix. Have you seen that?
I like passed it scrolling.
Oh
through
my
things.
god!
What's the deal? Like and I saw once again scrolling through blogs and stuff that he's got a dad bod now. Is that the deal or whatever?
I don't know. I don't know. He's just got a Zac Efron bod, but he, if you missed Anthony Bourdain before, just wait. Just start watching some of Zac Efron make a fool of himself traveling all over the world. It's incredible. It's like they took a science experiment, like a prepubescent chimp or something, and then just were like, hey. Like it's if they took like Jake Paul or one of the YouTubers and just like, you've got a travel show now, because it's like framed in this weird way where Zac Efron, obviously young, famous, rich, but he has like this weird guru guy that he's somehow, you know, like I guess he's learning from
like
this
his
guru?
spiritual
I don't
advisor
know.
or something.
Dude, I don't know what's going on, but yeah, he's like, oh, this is my health guru, Steve, or something. You know what I mean? And he's basically, so he and Steve, or whatever his name is, I'm gonna call him Steve.
Steve works, yeah.
Steve's fine. Yeah, that's better than he deserves. But he's basically just like, hey man, like it's the worst because I live in Southern California, so like I'm around Steve's all the time, and they're not yeah, and so like I don't know how this guy, you know, arranged himself to be this close to Zac Efron, but like Zac Efron's like, oh yeah, I was listening to a podcast a few years ago, and like Steve was like blowing my mind, man, with like all these crazy concepts about health and fitness, and like so like it's all about Zac Efron traveling the world and learning how the world does everything better than the United States, basically, and it's like, but it's just insane to watch what you think are just obvious realizations that he just doesn't understand. Like they go to Iceland and they're like, yeah, we live on like seismic fault lines. Like we have a lot of geothermal power. And he's like, whoa, man, like America should do this, man. Like, oh, but like they live on a volcano though, Zac Efron. So it's going to be kind of hard to do some of this stuff.
Why don't we just start
here,
shipping some
bro.
volcanoes from Iceland to America?
I mean, it's the broiest bro, like just, whoa, man. Like just, it's insane, dude, to watch. It's funny if it wasn't so brutally kind of sad. And like there's a scene where they go and they go to like a water sommelier and he's explaining how water works and like what kind of water you should drink and stuff, and he's just, I mean, someone this dumb shouldn't have this much money. Like I honestly, it's like I don't support what they're doing to Britney Spears. They have her in like lockdown or some shit. Like I'm on like free Britney Spears, like try to get her back into some sort of situation, but maybe she's where she belongs. I'm just saying that, you know what I mean? So Zac Efron, like maybe, you know, maybe season 1 is proof that, you know, someone should have a conservatorship over this man, because he just needs to be careful. I just, if he has some parents or someone that
he's
can,
gonna like, somebody's just gonna wander by with a van and like,
well,
you know.
but like he already has a guru. He's like 20, how old, 25 or something?
I think you and I need to start fucking getting into the spiritual guru business, because
I don't think you're
yeah,
wrong.
the Steve's
wrong
job sounds pretty fucking amazing.
Well, he's just basically telling like, hey man, you know, bro. There's one point he's like coaching him on how to be in a hot tub. Like they're in a hot tub, and he's like, all right, yeah, okay, man, ease into the cold tub. Okay, now, yeah, I'm in the hot tub now, but you're like, okay, well, just you need to relax your breathing, bruh. You need to, okay. I mean, it's insane, dude. You like. I can't believe this is a reality TV show. I mean, please go watch it, people. Give him the views if you want. Provide Zac Efron with whatever resources he needs to just bubble his life and remove as many people that could come after him as possible. I worry for him. If you're listening, Zach, yeah.
Yes, who will watch out for poor Zac Efron with all of his millions of dollars?
Bro, you know, he could be easily separated from those millions.
Yeah, I would like to help with that.
Honestly, well, if he needs a financial advisor, I'm available.
Yeah, call me.
If he needs a spiritual advisor, I'm available.
Yeah, we can do both for a discount.
yeah, exactly. 2 for 1, bro. But be careful, Zach. Okay, and I haven't watched all the episodes because I can't handle them. I can only handle like one every like 3 days.
Oh yeah,
but Ash, the lovely Ash, obviously, she's just like, whoa. This is incredible because I feel like it's weird. Ash is like she's like intellectually has like a high level kind of like finance job, but she really enjoys like watching just dumb people, because it just like at the end of the night, she just wants to hear just,
you just want to turn
noise,
your brain
you know
off.
What I mean? So yeah. And so Zac Efron is putting out the vibes that she can just, okay, this isn't going to be challenging. I don't really have to pay attention. You know what I mean? It's just, it's kind of in the background. Zac Efron's not going to be using vocabulary words that I'm going to have to think about later. No. Don't worry. So if you want to be blown away, go watch Zac Efron travel the world and not understand how volcanoes work. Well, there you go. I'm watching other stuff. What, you know, I mean, Netflix is a bevy of shit right now. I got The Old Guard. Did you watch that? Did you watch the Charlize Theron?
I started. There's been movie? A bunch of stuff that I like started the first 5 minutes of and then fell asleep to. So it's still on my list. That's it. Did you like it? Because I kept on hearing everyone say it's amazing, and like the trailer didn't really wow me. It kind of looks like a generic action movie. I tend to hate plots where it's like, these people have been around for thousands of years, because I just always keep on, there's like little plot holy sort of things that usually bug me, but I was going to give it a shot. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But you weren't impressed?
Yeah, I mean, give it a nah. I mean, I've never read the book. Like that's one that slipped by our gaze. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, it
we
was
read
a
the
comic?
book. You know,
It was a comic? That's
yeah.
the deal? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, and probably it's got to be a better comic than was a movie. You know, so I imagine the storyline is deeper and more interesting and stuff. But yeah, it's just it's you know, and I fucking love Highlander. So don't I mean you know I'm into like are you guys fucking immortals? Oh, is this the Quickening?
Right,
Oh
right.
shit, bro! Like I'm watching on Amazon Prime. I'm watching the absolute dog shit animated series of Highlander. You know what do you got? I got in my DVD stack. I got some. Hold on, one second. One second.
You're going out of your way to do this visual bit on an audio format.
Hold on.
I don't think there's enough sound effects there, Dave. Start hammering something.
Alright. Well, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it. But anyway, I have like some insane random Japanese OVA version of Highlander or something or other. I love Highlander. Oh, that being said, yeah, I mean this
Old
one's
Guard
just,
is no.
this ain't it.
Yeah, like
Does
does it have that much? Like I think I watched the trailer and like yeah, does it have a lot of plot or is it like I still didn't really get an impression of like
It's horrible.
what it's
No,
about
like
or
there's
anything
some like Zuckerberg pharmacy rep guy discovers that there's a few different like immortals, and he goes, I want to capture the immortals and then hack apart their bodies and then study them and then make that into a pharmaceutical drug and then cure cancer. And so he's horrible, but like he has like a noble cause, but at the same point you just hate him. He's a scumbag, you know. So I don't know. Charlize Theron's in it. She's fine. Whatever. I mean.
Yeah, I think she can do that sort of role. I mean, I think she's great at
Yeah,
that stuff. But
she just didn't. I mean, it's not even close. Like this is, it's not anywhere like a real movie like Furiosa or something where she really gets into it. This is just, let me just take my check and I'll be on my way kind of a thing, and then just a bunch of other kind of unknowns, and then there's oh God, I can never say his name. Ejiofor, is that his name?
Is it Chiwetel Ejiofor? Yeah, I know the guy you're talking about.
He's in there.
Yeah, he's good.
So they're kind of the stars, I guess. But yeah, it's. I don't even want to get it. I don't want to spoil it for you. But guess what? The immortals are immortal. You know what I mean? So like, it's kind of nonsense. So, they did this weird, crazy. Dun dun dun! Like setting up a sequel.
Yeah, of course.
If they make a sequel to this dog shit,
I think it like broke records or whatever. Like I think it did really well, so they're probably gonna fast track it.
But it's another. I'll get into it if we talk about Umbrella Academy of how much I hate needle drops.
Mm-hmm.
That this was just. Let's just put music in this movie. You know what I mean? Just randomly and jarring. You know what I mean? This was another just clumsy attempt at just putting just jarring nonsensical music into and like too new of music. Do you hate that?
Yeah, like, if it's like,
oh, do you know this song that you kind of like from 6 months ago on radio?
If it's on the radio,
we're gonna put it in this movie.
I always associate, it makes me think of things like 8 Mile and everything like that, where it's like it's such a, it feels like a thing, kind of a bygone thing now a little bit, because at least the movies I watch, I feel like you don't get that quite as much these days, but like in like the 90s and 2000s, yeah, like whatever the hot song in like teen movies or whatever, like you'd always expect that, but I feel like I don't see that as much these days. But it definitely didn't, like, I was just reading all this, like, it's getting a lot of, critics are giving it good reviews, but yeah, the trailer really didn't do anything for me. So maybe you just save me some time. Maybe I'll use that as my excuse to skip it.
Yeah, check it out. I mean, let's see what else I got. I watched Fear City, the mob little mini series documentary thing. It's fine. It's just it's like we heard it all before. You know what I mean? It's interesting, but I mean, I watched so much shit getting ready for The Irishman. So
yeah, I feel like
to me none of this was
20.
New,
especially just on Netflix alone, there have been like 30 crime and mob documentaries in the last 6 months or something like that. So
yeah. So this was geared more towards New York City specifically.
Right.
So it was like if you're if you were interested in learning about Fat Tony and the five families and stuff like that, and
you could do a fucking dissertation on that by now after The Irishman, though. You were connecting all the dots. You probably could have taken down the Gambino family again.
No, it was interesting. I mean, but they just talked about a lot of the things that that have been out there. Like I know about them, like the Concrete Club, stuff like that. Like all the huge racket that they had, the real estate and all that stuff. So to me, it was like I already know most of this stuff. But I mean, I think if you don't know a ton of a lot about the kind of the history of like and the end of the mafia, where Giuliani kind of came in and just
took
just
them all out,
cleaned them all out. Yeah, which is crazy that someone didn't do this.
Yeah, it only took half a century longer.
I mean, it's just insane. Yeah, 200 years or whatever. I mean, like. No one thought, like, they literally just decided to start using laws that they already had.
Well, I think...
it's like...
I think it was...
How incompetent can you be?
I don't think it's incompetence. I think it's like, you hit a... I mean, I feel like the officers weren't enforcing those laws before because they were getting paid off, and then...
they didn't even know. No. So this is a separate thing where the FBI didn't understand how to use the laws that were being written. A guy at Cornell wrote a bunch of laws, the RICO laws.
Right.
And then they just sat there unused for like 10 years. And then he was like, hey, why aren't you guys like, come have a seminar. I'll teach you your own freaking laws that I wrote. And you guys take your shit back to New York and pull your pants up and use these laws that are on the books for you. And they're like, yeah, okay.
Wow.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, okay. And they're all like, well, I didn't want to go. I was dragged there kicking and screaming, but, after the first day, I really thought the guy had some good ideas, but we could do our fucking jobs. It was insane. So, so that's interesting. I mean, I didn't know some of that about how incompetent the FBI was. And, because they were just running around with their, thumbs up their asses, putting
like small time
in people's cars and stuff. Yeah, they were just trying to spy on people the old-fashioned way. They didn't know how to do anything, how to actually prosecute and bring anyone to justice. All they knew was how to kind of break into people, fuck with people's like phone lines, and then pretend you were the Bell Atlantic guy and come in and bug their phone.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
we just knew how to record them. We didn't know we could do anything with the recordings.
Yeah. No, I was like, we just listened to them talk a lot, and so that they're interviewing all these like old. Former FBI agents who are now like, 60. They're all like older than our parents, and they're like, oh yeah, I used to listen to Fat Tony Salerno bang the maid, just like those were the good old days, But anyway, I don't know. What you didn't watch Umbrella Academy, right?
I ended up watching the first episode, and I watched a lot of one and change episodes of things on Netflix the last couple of weeks, but yeah, I watched the first episode. I promised after we binged it last, we did a review on the last season, and I was like kind of on the fence. Like I liked parts of it, and then other parts I didn't. So I wasn't gonna, at least not go into it right away. But I watched the I don't know if it counts as a season premiere, but like the first episode and change, and it still feels a little bit the same. Like, at least based on the first episode, like, I got qualms with it, but I did forget that there are things I like about it, too. But, yeah, like, well, tell me what you thought of it.
No, I just, to me, it's just like, you're like, how many episodes is this? 10?
Yeah.
Jeez,
yeah, I feel like
nothing happens.
It would be a much stronger show if it was, like, 6 episodes. Or 5 or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's just, because they have so many characters, they feel like everyone needs
an arc and a big
30 to 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, just dude, I don't care, bro. Like, you guys are so self-indulgent with this stupid shit about, oh, well, we need to explain this dynamic with, Vanya and her whole thing with this farm family, and Klaus with his whole thing, and the rest, with their, it's like watching 8 different shows or something. Then you've got the Time Commission, then you've got, this and that, and just it felt like a much dumber version of the Stephen King book about Kennedy getting killed.
Oh, yeah.
The guy goes back in time. You know what I mean? It's just like, because it's all around the same time. So I feel like I'm watching, what is it, 1863 or something like that. I'm trying to remember the name of the book. But
whatever.
Right, yeah, November.
The date Kennedy got shot.
Whatever it's called. I don't know.
Yeah.
The date Kennedy died.
They should just call it that.
Just call it that. The day Kennedy is shot. But yeah, to me, man, it's just I don't know. People love these. I don't understand. And again, the needle drops.
Yeah, that killed
are just
me.
So
last
gratuitous.
Season. And, the first episode. That's the thing, is like you're supposed to save the needle drops like for the special occasion. You can only do like 3 tops in a movie because before it starts to get every movie's different, and there's special cases, but if you're really trying to make effective needle drops, like a needle drop is like, I think it's called a needle drop because it's like you notice that, hey, we're not playing regular like soundtrack music.
Well, just you abandoned any sense of having a score like an adult.
Yeah.
And you've basically just went like, there's a Backstreet Boys needle drop in this one. Like there's dude, and there I did.
And was it wall to wall covers, like slowed down mopey covers of pop?
There was one.
I know they did Crazy in the first episode, which was okay, but once again,
they did Crazy cover. They did what was another? They did another. Oh, they did a Billie Eilish cover that was brutal.
Billie Eilish. But I feel like the show is
Bad Guy, the Bad Guy song.
God, yeah.
But it was horrible. It was horrible.
I hate Billie Eilish, was like, but that's that show's vibe. It's like definitely.
That is just, but it's like a word. I mean, just you couldn't. I don't know. They couldn't afford it, or they thought, oh, this will be.
No, I think it's a style
fun
thing.
Twist. Here's a shittier version of her song. Yeah. The only time they used music effectively was when they had there's a scene where a character is taking LSD and goes into like a weird trance kind of thing, and they did Butthole Surfers. Pepper, I think, and that was a really cool use of music because they kind of distorted a little bit. Other than that, man, it's horrible. And it ruins every time, it's like, it's just a flow chart. Is there action? Yes, no. Is one of the main 18 characters in this action? Yes. Needle drop.
Yeah.
What do you guys want to hear? Just, it's like jukebox of shit. So that ruins it for me. It's too fucking confusing, dude. I love time travel shit, but your tween audience that you're making this for, presumably, can't remember what the fuck, like all the timelines and the character and this and that and the commission, and then just they've got other characters who are more characters who are introduced. It's just like, dude, every character has their own little burst of like other hovering characters that are now associated with them, and it's too fucking much, man. I don't know who you guys make this show for. The comic can't, because I don't think I've gotten that far. Nothing I've read in the comics resembled anything of this show.
I mean, I think they did have an arc that was, like I said, I only watched the first episode, but like the second series was based around the Kennedy assassination, but once again, the first season was ostensibly based on the first series, and they definitely went in way different directions with it. Like, I think it's like they used it as a starting off point, and then they kind of like did their own thing with it, not necessarily for the better. And same thing, like I feel like, I feel like they have bullet points of things that they need to hit, but then there tends to be all this filler in between because they got to make that 10 episodes, and I feel like that's part of the reason for the needle drops is like cool, this is like we can be indulgent and still eat up like 10 minutes and it'll have a bunch of cool shots for the trailer, and that's the thing that sucks. It's like, you know, Netflix is so interesting because he gives all these creators like, you know, or it gives all these creators
just too much fucking runway.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where it's like sometimes less is more. And that's my thing too, is like I think there's so many great shows out there, this one included, but like I'm actually starting to find myself like hesitant to jump into new TV shows just because it's starting to feel like homework keeping up with all these things, and you know, it's such a commitment, like, you know, trying to like burn through these like 10 hours every time, you know.
Well, that's why, my man, Dark is the truth. You know, so Mr. Andrew Volpe, he's new to Dark. He's getting into Dark.
Yeah.
I've done the first season. I'm into the second season. It's the greatest. So if you're wrapped on Umbrella Academy, we're just going to briefly touch on Dark. But Dark is what you do when you have so much shit going on you can barely follow, but it's done well.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of this.
Yeah, we might be potentially teasing a future Dark review if I can actually get up the gumption to watch it, but
yeah, in 2023,
yeah,
it's coming to you,
yeah,
baby.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you want to hear us talk about Dark 5 years after it wrapped up,
but I've had like,
you know, it might take us that long. It's
seriously had like three people text me unprompted saying, "Yo, you got to start watching the show," like, it just, you know, because it's so good. So I'm once again like, you know, I'm willing to believe the hype, and I liked the first episode. It seems like it's got, you know, that Stranger Things, but a little darker.
Yeah, one of the greatest first episodes of any show, I think.
Greatest, really?
Just completely.
I thought it was good.
One of the greatest. One of the greatest.
I thought it was interesting.
Well, think about how it sucks you into that. You're like, what is this?
I was definitely intrigued. Yeah, I feel like also when I watched the first episode, I was like, okay, like it's the exact same thing you were talking about, where I'm like, okay, wait, we got two generations of people. This guy's kid's brother disappeared when he was young. Like, I think when I was watching it, I wasn't in the mood to start putting all the pieces together. So
well, that's why I you know, I've been crawling through it, and I've rewatched the first season twice.
Okay.
So, or I've watched it twice. I haven't rewatched it twice. So yeah,
you're on what season now? You're on the second season?
I'm on season 2.
So.
Yeah, because before I started season 2, I completely rewatched season 1 because there was too much time, and I was like, I don't remember. I'm not going to remember all the little
the small details that I'm sure
so.
pay off. Like, yeah, I think people have told me like it really does tie together. Like, so the stuff in season 1 actually does come into play in the end, and
so it's not like Lost.
No, it is not like Lost. That is everyone's fear.
We're not going to get lost in. Yeah. My fear for every show is Lost.
No, I think that's everyone's. That's a reasonable fear. That is basically
Damien Lindelof is just going to appear around the corner and go, "Gotcha, bitch."
Well, I think that always comes down to, does a show actually know what its end point is going to be? Because that was unfortunately lost. Or I mean,
have you heard him? He did an interview a couple weeks ago or something. I'm trying to remember. I watched where he was explaining the whole thing, where he was desperately trying to kind of get out of he wanted to end the show like 4, and they were like, oh yeah, 10. No.
Oh yeah, they added like 3 more seasons or something.
Yeah, they were like, yeah. So he was just like, yo, dude, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, just let me end the show, you know?
Yeah.
Like, nah.
I could see that.
This is just. Yeah,
I mean, people.
He goes into it. That's his side of the story. Who knows? You know what I mean? But
I have a little bit. I mean, I have more respect for Damon Lindelof after Watchmen, but like, I don't know. He said kind of this because the other big thing that people knock him for is Prometheus, and he was also saying that Ridley Scott was responsible for a lot of.
Did he do Prometheus? He wrote
it, and that he
Oh wow.
He got a shit ton of, backlash for all the dumb plot thing, like all of the dumb stuff people complain about in Prometheus.
But that's all Ridley Scott, right?
Yeah, he was saying basically the process of working,
all the android shit.
Like apparently what happens when you work on a Ridley Scott movie is he smokes a cigar and dictates to you what the movie's going to be, and then you just kind of have to write the script to his wishes. So apparently he was he was kind of chained to the dumber ideas. I don't know. That's his story too. But
Sounds incredible. But have you seen the fucking trailer for Raised by Wolves?
No, I keep on seeing. I saw it all over Facebook today, and did not get to watch it before we recorded. Is it cool? It looks cool. The screen grabs look cool.
It looks insane. It looks insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it looks right up that Ridley Scott weird android craziness.
Bring it on, baby.
Alley.
And it's like that plus post-apocalyptic survival crap too, right?
It's got it's all over the place. It's got the guy from Vikings in it doing God knows what. It's got a questionable, weird, what do they call it? Unbelievable narrator. What is the term?
Oh, unreliable. Like
unreliable narrator. Yeah, it just seems really like crazy. So I'm into it.
Cool.
Imagine if like Adam the android is like a female and she's like raising like two babies or something that they rescued from Earth prior to it being exploded.
She's trying to repopulate the planet, but the planet is harsh and unforgiving or something.
I'm not sure exactly, but yeah, it's more of a teaser trailer than a trailer, right? That kind of just came out where it's a lot of just flashy visuals and wild shit, but it looks awesome. So, pretty excited about it. I think it's coming to HBO Max.
Damn it.
I want to say
everything's coming to HBO Max.
The God Max, the God.
I'm subscribed to HBO and I can't. Can you watch it online? Can you use your HBO?
I don't, bro. I do it on everything's through my PlayStation, so I have no idea. Or my iPad. Do the iPad on your phone or something. I don't know.
I'm not gonna watch it on my phone. I'm not gonna watch Raised by Wolves on my phone, Dave. Come on.
You're working from your bed. You're laying in a bed.
I'm staring at my TV in my bed that I want to watch.
Well, how's you're still watching Quibi,
I actually am. I was gonna bring it up. I was like, they did that thing where I forgot. Like I was like, oh, cool.
Oh, they billed you.
Yeah, they totally billed me.
How much have they got from you?
$6, and so the thing was, the joke's kind of on them because
you got to use prepaid cards, man.
Well, so the joke's kind of on them because the card that I'm using that has the billing information attached to it. It just expired last month, so I'm just gonna kind of let it ride for. I was like literally like, oh god damn it, and then I was like, well, maybe I'll give Quibi another month just to see.
Well, is it? Yeah, who is it? The what was the world famous horrible female CEO of Yahoo?
Oh,
Meghan Markle,
not Meghan Markle.
Megan,
the one that threw all
it's Megan something, right? Yeah,
the one that threw.
She's running Quibi or something.
Is she? Oh, I did not realize.
I don't know.
No, it's Katzenberg. Katzenberg's the guy that's in charge of Quibi.
Yeah, but someone else. Hold on. I gotta Google.
Look, it's all bad news. I'm also kind of subscribed to it just because I'm like this.
Megan Whitman. Yeah, I was right.
Megan Whitman. Yeah, okay, yeah. She threw all the Great Gatsby part, and didn't she? Wasn't she responsible for Yahoo Screen immediately tanking?
She ruined everything. She ruined Hewlett Packard. She ruined Yahoo. Oh, she's great.
She gave us season.
Quibi is a perfect.
I mean,
her net worth $5.2 billion.
Oh my god. I mean,
God, can we just be CEOs of something? I guess I'm the CEO of this operation, but it's not really. Someone needs to appoint me.
I mean, once you get that Jonas Brother money. Or whatever that show. What was the guy? You just need to find a rich millionaire celebrity to become a spiritual advisor to, and
bro, I gotta get up into Truesdale. Just go up into Beverly Hills. Just stand outside people's gates, find an old lady, or something. Find someone that's just like. But the problem is, no one trusts. I'm kind of a portly gentleman, just stocky, short. There's nothing like I don't look like anyone that's. You remember like Her Smell? Did you ever watch Her Smell?
No.
Where she's got like a witch doctor who's like doing prayers over. No one would believe that I'm in tune with anything.
Damn.
You know what I mean? I look like a narc. I look like a cop.
Well,
no one's gonna buy what I've got to sell.
That's why we'll get some ayahuasca. We'll get some peyote. We'll mix it all in a bag. Spin you around in a circle, have you mix it all up into a drink, have you drink it, and just let you loose on a street corner and I'm sure you'll find someone eventually.
I gotta fall into a cult or something. I gotta take over a cult. I gotta start one. I don't know. I'm tired of living this life. I'm tired of talking about things that suck. Do you want to talk about Palm Springs? I actually really liked it.
Yeah, I'm glad that you ended up watching that. I feel like that was such the perfect movie to like. It was just a good movie for now. Like I feel like it's a nice balance of like kind of a nice escapist movie that you don't have to think too hard about, but it's got a good concept. It's got a good cast. Everyone's enjoyable. I'm not saying it's like the best movie of all time and I'll like remember it forever, but like I enjoyed it, and I gotta say I like this this Groundhog Day subgenre that's kind of come to fruition in the last few years.
Yeah. No, I mean it was weird because I love time loop movies. I love the kind of Groundhog's Day-esque movies. I always, I don't know, something weird about them. I guess I secretly or unsecretly, I guess, want to be trapped in a time loop for some amount of time. Just that kind of like
not forever, but
chaos of lawless. Not forever, but yeah, like I don't know. Just give me like 30 days of the same one. Yeah, I'd fuck around.
So you could do all the things that you always want to do and get away with it, and then is it that or is it that just being able to have time and not worry about having to wake up and adhere to a schedule or anything like that?
Yeah, like no. Part of my part of it for me is I would read every book that I actually own. I would watch everything in my watch list. I would read every article. I would listen to every podcast. I would kind of do all the things that I wish I could do if I weren't sleeping and playing Call of Duty.
It's the Twilight Zone, time at last, like the dude with the glasses that finally has time to read all the books and the glasses shatter at the end kind of thing. Like, it's like, yeah, that's the, finally I don't have any responsibility or anything and I can like just literally like live in eternity just enjoying whatever and then go back to regular life, right?
Yeah. I always enjoy watching like how flawed characters like kind of handle that setting, and that's what's fun about Palm Springs is also kind of trying to guess. I think what's fun about Palm Springs is most every time lapse movie is centered around, or time loop movie rather, is centered around like a main character who goes through it the first time and then spends the first act going, what? Yeah. What's going on in the time loop? So this is great because he's already midway through it, or he's already well into it, and you kind of discover that that's the kind of plot device that the movie is centered around. So that's kind of fun. And then I always like when there's multiple characters who are
involved in the time loop,
involved and kind of also going through the time loop. There's a few movies that are like this, but shows and movies that are multiple people going through it, and they all remember the past days. I'm not talking about Andy McDowell and Groundhog. I'm talking like...
You're talking about other people that are Bill Murray's in the Bill Murray. Yeah, I mean, that's a nice wrinkle to... Because it's like everyone's like, they're in on a joke that the rest of the world isn't in on, kind of. And the thing I like about that format in general is like, the repetition is fun because the audience gets to know it, so you get to expect it, and it's like the ways you play with that expectation really kind of give the movie a nice momentum usually, or show or whatever, and it's a good metaphor for people's lives too. I feel like, it's a good, especially, in this case, in this movie, it's kind of like a metaphor for like the guy's life. Like you kind of can get stuck living the same day over and over again. And I really like, I totally agree. Like, I like that when you first meet Andy Samberg, like I watched this movie with my brother and he didn't actually know what the concept of the movie was at first. So I loved that for him, he didn't even know this was a time loop movie. So the stuff in the first 20 minutes, like it doesn't bother explaining it to you. And you kind of just would assume that Andy Samberg is like a total, like weird loser or something like that doesn't,
or he's just kind of grumpy because he's at like his girlfriend's friend's wedding.
He's wearing a Hawaiian
you assume
shirt
like
to
nothing
a
is
and stuff or whatever.
Right. Yeah, nothing is too like outrageous until you kind of, it unravels. Yeah, because I watched it with Ash, and she doesn't know.
Right.
So, yeah, no, I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
And
what was I gonna say? I don't know. I'm just go for it.
Oh, I was gonna say J.K. Simmons was a good J.K. Simmons role.
He's great.
You can never have too much supporting J.K. Simmons actors acting or whatever.
That's my favorite use of him is kind of like maniacal old guy.
Yeah.
Where it's not too heavy. It's not like the drum movie. What was that?
Oh, Whiplash.
Whiplash. Ooh.
Yeah.
Where it's not Oz.
It's not
or something,
Oz.
You know what I mean? It's like, but it's not quite Spider-Man either. It's like.
Well, he's scary in it, but he's more on the fun, gruff asshole. You want like a little bit of those Farmers Insurance ads. More of that J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
A little bit. Just a little of that mixed in with Whiplash.
Give me a little less Oz, a little more Farmers Insurance.
Yeah, give me J.J. Jameson, but if he was cool and you were doing coke with him in a bathroom, or like,
how long do you think he was in the loop?
I don't know. Oh, well, I like that they gave him an out.
You ever hear like, Harold Ramis has like, Bill Murray was in there for like 38 years. Yeah, something like that, right?
I mean, that's the thing. But I feel like it's the same thing. Like in Edge of Tomorrow too. I feel like they that's the thing is like, and I think that's the fun of it is it could be this might have been his like dozenth try doing this, or he could literally have been doing this for thousands of years. The wrinkle I like that they had with Andy Samberg in this is that he's been in this loop so long he literally doesn't remember what his life was before this day, and I think that was a nice touch.
Yeah, he could, because at the end, or I don't even want to say it. We're going to try to keep it spoiler free, but there's one callback I thought was really funny at the end of the movie, where he remembers that he has to go pick something up. Do you remember that?
Yeah, and it's a very it's such a once again, can't get into it, but it was a nice touch. But yeah, and also I'm really glad. I think is it Christina Margoletti?
I don't. Yeah, I've never seen her before. She was poor man's Linda Cardellini or whatever. Oh, Ash was like, who does she look like?
Oh,
I was like, you think she's the chick from Dead to Me and Scooby Doo and Grandma's Boy and Mad Men and, but no, that's not. She's like a poor man's.
She's a great actress. Like I've seen her. She's kind of like a character actress that kind of shows up in shows every once in a while. But she's really good. She was the mom in How I Met Your Mother, and she was Leonardo DiCaprio's first wife in Wolf of Wall Street. So she's got like bit parts, but she's very funny and kind of charismatic. So I'm glad that she's got a nice funny role that she could sink her teeth into. But yeah, totally loved it. This is like exact kind of nice balance of comfort food and an actual good, movie. And I think it was from the Lonely Island guys, and I gotta say I do like their work a lot. I still say that whatever that pop star movie Andy Samberg did is
I never got to see that.
It's underrated, man. I think it's actually like really effing funny. I need to rewatch it.
I liked Palm Springs because it's fun. I've seen so many of these movies that are brutal, like they're not fun with it. Like.
Yeah, I don't want to get too depressing with the premise,
Yeah, no, I mean, if you want a real depressing one, there's one called Repeaters, which is, it's I think it came out like 10 years ago, and it stars the, if you watch Silicon Valley, kind of the young female executive.
Oh, yeah.
She was in, I can't remember her name, but she was in Sex Drive, too. She was like Felicia or something in Sex Drive. So she's kind of like a recovering drug addict in a rehab center with two other recovering drug addicts, and the three of them get into a time loop.
Oh.
And it's the day her dad dies, so she gets to relive that every day. And then one guy basically has like a mental breakdown and just starts killing people, raping teenage girls, like killing the other two. Like, it's insane. Is
Is it like when you die, you just
it's
wake
just
up
so
again over and over kind of thing?
Yep. So he would run around and kind of like, there's a scene where like he kidnaps the girl and like shoots her in the knee just to fuck with the guy, and then like kills her. So she'll just restart. Like kills her. I mean, it's not fun.
Yeah,
it's not like a
really
fun
sounds
one.
like a
You know
laugh
what I mean?
riot, man.
Yeah, it's not a barrel monkey. So I enjoy the time loop ones, and I don't know if have you ever seen? Did you see Russian Doll?
I did, yeah, no, I liked it, and I was
Okay.
thinking of that too.
Where it's kind of like a middle. It's where I feel like more fun, but it also was a little bit fucking dark too.
Yeah,
in
it would get darker at times. Though I kind of liked it, but it did kind of make it a little less. Like I didn't binge it as fast because like I respected the artistry of it more, but I wasn't like, oh cool, I want to watch 10 episodes of this in one night or whatever.
Yeah. I think they did it perfectly. It's like 8 episodes, 30 minutes a piece or something.
And the fact that it was
and
30
you're like,
minutes
okay,
a
more
piece,
digestible.
I think made a big difference. If it was an hour, it would be kind of grueling, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, were there any other good? I got a couple. I'm trying to think of like good time loop movies. I saw one kind of recently that's been on Netflix for a while called The Endless. Have you seen that yet? Or heard of
Okay, yeah, no, I still not. No, I've not seen it, but I will watch it.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good. It's I don't know if it's quite time loop, but it's like time loop adjacent, and it's basically about these two brothers that escaped a cult when they were children. Like they grew up in a cult, and then when they were like 15, they left, and they get a videotape from one of the people from their cult, and basically telling them to come back and visit. And when they go and visit, they are like, "Oh, hey, wait. Everyone here seems to have not aged, and there's weird things with people seeming to be in time loops, and it's very interesting. It's kind of like a good Twilight Zone episode, and it's not quite the same thing as the Groundhog Day format, but it's pretty fun, and it actually, I don't know. There's cameos from other characters, and this guy's other. It actually ties into another movie that the guy did. That's kind of interesting, but can't talk about it because it goes into the spoilers. But it's cool. And then there were 2 other ones that came to mind. Once again, not quite time loop, but time loop adjacent, kind of time travel-y, that I think are like really underrated. There's this Spanish movie called Time Crimes. That's pretty dope. It's like one of the best like time travel movies. Plot holes with them kind of irritate me, and the ones that I tend to like are the ones where it's like airtight logic, like time can't be changed kind of stuff. So yeah, it's one of those things where you just kind of have to watch it, but it's about a guy that just moved into a house, and he's sitting on his back deck one day, and he's looking through binoculars, and he thinks he sees a naked woman getting murdered by a guy in a mask with scissors, and he goes out to rescue her, and it ends up turning into this crazy time travel plot that I won't go more into, but it's really cool, and it loops back in on itself over and over and over again, and like scenes play out one way, like, and it's a horror movie, and then they play out from a different angle, and it's like a comedy. Like, you kind of does one of those things where when you see things from a different perspective, it totally changes the context. So it's pretty cool, and it kind of has that repetitive thing we were talking about where you as the audience kind of you've seen these things happen before, so you get a nice tension because you know what's coming, but you also don't quite know how it's going to play out. So it's really cool. It's from the guy that did that movie Colossal that came out a few years ago. So he's got weird, interesting sci-fi ideas a lot, and this was one of his better ones.
Did he star in it? Because the dude he wrote it, directed, and he starred in it too.
He's an actor. He's a side character. He's kind of the comic relief because there's a scientist of a certain time device that plays a part in the movie, and he's basically the guy that explains all the science stuff in the exposition, and he's pretty good because like he knows that he's kind of a goofy dude with good comedic timing, so he knows to give himself a lot of like comic beats in it. So it's a really solid movie. I think it's very underrated, and I try to recommend to people when whenever it comes up. And and then the last one is kind of similar. It's this movie called Predestination. Came out a few years ago. It stars Ethan Hawke and Sarah Snook, who is on Succession now. She's the daughter in it. And really good performance by Sarah Snook. Once again, I'm trying to figure out how to describe this. I can't describe hardly anything about it without it being a spoiler, but it has one of the weirdest sci-fi time travel concepts I ever heard, but it's interesting. Like, I can honestly say I've never heard a sci-fi concept like it, but it's basically Ethan Hawke is this detective that has to go back and catch this serial killer from the past, and he runs into this woman who I'm not even going to go into it. Just watch the trailer. Trailer's not even that good. Just watch the movie. It's a interesting, weird, crazy, wraps in on itself type of plot. It's kind of one of the problems with these time travel, time loop movies is you can't really like describe too much about them without going into spoilers.
Well, no one I can find. I've been looking for people who are trapped in time loops for years. And no one can say shit. So, I've looked for real. There's real people on YouTube that are claiming that they're in time loops and shit. So believe me.
Wait, what?
No one.
Really?
Oh yeah.
No one can. Do they try to
but,
prove that at all or anything?
Well, the guy, like, there's one guy in particular I follow, but he basically just, because he claims he's in a time loop from 2000. He's in a 40-year time loop, he says, and his time loop starts in 2001 and goes to 2040. So like 2000 to 2040.
Why is he not a millionaire right in the middle from all of those stock sports bets or whatever?
Exactly. So he's just, well, why didn't you warn? The comments are always like, why didn't you warn us about fucking coronavirus, bro?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he just talks about online gambling a lot. He's like, I was a tech guy and I was I was in the tech boom and I was burp. He's basically the homeless guy in what's it called? Russian Doll. He's basically the homeless guy, and he looks like a crazy homeless guy. So you kind of discount everything.
What?
He says.
Are you kidding me?
I know.
I would take a seminar from that gentleman in an instant.
It's crazy because his profile picture is him as a younger man, like with a very short, like almost like kind of like shave. Like a buzz cut almost, and he looks like a like happy, bright, like spunky kind of like maybe like 20-year-old, and then his videos are like as a crazy man with like a weird like Unabomber beard and hair, and he's like, "Hey guys, oh god, I'm in a loop again." You know what I mean?
Well, once you've been in
just talks about online
for the
gambling
20th time, that takes its toll.
Yeah, he just talks about online gambling and says like, "Oh, in 2040." Oh, online gambling is all, everything is gambling. I was like, this isn't really enough for me, dog. I'm going to need a little more, than that. But,
tell me what the next Google's going to be, Mr.
Yeah, can
Future.
you toss me some nuggets, bro?
Yeah.
But he's like, dropping my kids off at school and I'm in a loop again, man. Oh, yeah. Like, it's
wow.
It's crazy because he's angry that people think he posts the videos for attention, but why else would you?
I'm fine just believing the guy's crazy. Plenty of crazy people can make videos. YouTube has shown us that fact far too much in the last few years. But
yeah, he's I want to reach out to someone who's actually trapped in a time loop. If you happen to be in a time loop, leave a comment.
Yeah.
Leave a comment.
Yeah, if you can.
Because the comments on his posts are like people, oh yeah, dude, I've been in a time loop before. Oh yeah, dude, I got out of it. But like people are like leave him paragraph long things.
Is
saying,
it all
I'm there for you, dude.
It's crazy. I get stuck in this time loop, and crack is the only thing that gets me out of it. Is it a lot of that kind of stuff?
No, it's like people talk about quantum physics and this and that and all this, dude. Oh, dude.
There's a bunch of burgeoning Donnie Darkos out there or something.
I guess so, man. I mean, that's another classic one. But
oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I love a good time loop movie as long as kids aren't getting murdered in them. I guess.
The one you were describing, I've never heard of, but I have
it's horrible. It's not good. Yeah. Yeah, like I'll watch almost anything if it's like, oh, it's
Yeah, I mean
that concept. I like time loop, like Groundhog's Day. I love the Happy Death Day.
I was just about to say
stuff like that.
That was a fun movie
because they're kind of fun.
Or you know, even Edge of Tomorrow is like not bloody, but it is like a kind of sometimes borderline intense action movie kind of stuff.
Yeah, it can be violent. It's like this guy's his motivation every day was to wake up and then sprint out of his room so he could make sure that his sister's friend doesn't get raped by this guy.
Wow.
So it's like, you know what? I could stand for this to be over.
Yeah. That's
Well, there you go. I was like, is this in the movie? Like,
yeah,
it's crazy. It's don't watch it. I think it's on Amazon Prime. It's Repeaters from like 2010. It sucks. It's not great, but if you want to watch like a depressing, shitty take on time travel, go for it.
You should put that on the box. Put that on the Amazon review page.
Review. But no, I've been diving through Amazon recently because there's just so much insanity. They I don't know who's the content person over there, but they were just like, you know what? The more the merrier.
Oh yeah,
let's get the stupidest, weirdest shit from 1974, and let's bring it on in. I've been watching just trash off Amazon. I'm ashamed of myself.
Amazon's really good. Both current and like weird relics from the past. Like they find all these tiny little productions or things you wouldn't know about, or like I don't know, like PSA footage from the 70s of all sorts of weird crap. And then not to say like cheesy horror movies from the 80s and just low budget stuff. Like it's apparently like not super hard to get your movie on Amazon if you're like you and I think we
could probably have one on the end of the week.
Yeah, totally. Let's do it.
You know what I mean?
Next high maintenance.
Let's do it, bro.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah, the other night I was like, I was trying to find the original Wolfman, and that led me to finding, I think, the 70s remake of Wolfman on Amazon Prime. But then something else caught my eye. It was a movie called The Beast Must Die. I think The Beast Must Die. That sounds right. I think it's Beast Must Die, and it's about basically this kind of a wealthy businessman who invites a group of strangers to his estate, and then one of them is like a friend of his wife, and then her husband or boyfriend, something like that, but like invites a group of people to his estate under the kind of weird suspicion or knowledge that one of them is a werewolf. He's like a huge game hunter, and all the people he invites they have suspicious deaths surrounding them, and they have like, weird things have happened when they've been in certain places. It's not explained how he has all this background research on them, but he's like Bruce Wayne basically or something, right? So he can kind of pull all this. And so the entire movie is basically like it's a 3-day full moon cycle. So the movie takes place over 3 days, and one of them is a
it's
werewolf.
like a whodunit with a werewolf. That actually sounds like a great idea for a fucking movie.
Well, it is. It's a great idea for a movie,
but it's not.
I wouldn't say it was executed that way. It's
okay. Let me ask a question:
insane.
Is either Christopher Lee or Vincent Price in this movie? Because this definitely sounds like one of those like Hammer films from the 70s or something.
Dude, you know who's in it? Weirdly, is the guy who plays Grand Moff Tarkin in Star Wars.
Oh, really?
He's
the
like
CGI guy?
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't remember his name. God bless him. But he's like the werewolf expert doctor character or something. It's just Grand Moff Tarkin.
But I mean, a face like that, I would immediately be like, yes, you are a werewolf expert. I will assume.
Oh, he looks like he's a vampire expert, werewolf expert, you name it. And this is, I think the movie was made in like 74, 75, maybe a few years before Star Wars or something. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But he does a great job. But everyone at this kind of dinner party, they're like trying to. It's like the Thing kind of way where they're trying
10
to do
Little
tests on you
Indians
and
or
stuff.
something. Yeah, it sounds very
Yeah,
Agatha Christie or something. It's a good. Damn, they need to remake that or something because that's you can have fun with that.
Yeah, you could do it pretty low budget. We should probably remake it. It's pretty funny, but they do this weird thing where they break the fourth wall with a narrator, and they go, make your in the first I want to say the first maybe half hour, it just burp like record scratch stops and goes, have you make your decision. Who do you think the werewolf is?
It's like
it does this whole cheesy thing.
It's like Dora the Explorer or something.
Dude, it's insane. And then about 10 minutes left in the movie, it did it again, and it goes, have you made your choice? Wow. Have you paid attention to all the clues? Who do you think the werewolf is? See if you're right. It's insane. That's and amazing. Then they so they go in, it's wild, man. So if you guys are interested in a apps super cheesy, I want to do our own version of Mystery Science Theater, Amazon Mystery Theater, something like that, because there's so many weird, shitty movies on Amazon. I'll just go through, I saw one. I don't want to give it away, but it's like a Commando Shark or something. I have my watch list is just full of shit with Tom Sizemore movies and you name it. I've got a bunch of them. So, but yeah, The Beast Must Die. It's he's like an American guy, but they gave him this weird British accent. I think they told him try to sound wealthy.
Yeah, sounds sophisticated. I guess that's British.
Right, and he just sounds so odd and weird. Yeah, he just automatically did this weird kind of just nonsense weird British accent, but and they have a dog play the werewolf the whole time. There's no actual werewolf. It's just a dog with a shaggy collar around his
Does it
neck.
Do that thing?
So
is it mostly shot from the werewolf's perspective, and then they try to show that as
it's
little
just
as
a
possible?
big black dog.
Man, that's annoying.
Just a big black dog.
That's
basically. Yeah, it's just a big oh, it sucks. I mean, it's get out there and go watch it. If you can't, go find the trailer for it or something. I'm sure it's on YouTube, but yeah, dude, it's a. You can't sleep in the middle of the night or something. Throw that thing on.
That sounds fantastic. I'm not gonna lie. That kind of almost. I kind of want to look that up now just to see how bad it is.
Go for it. Yeah, it's horrible, but it's also so bad it's good.
Cool. I love it. Yeah, maybe we can do a watch party or something like that some night.
Sure. Yeah, there's a bunch. Amazon's perfect for that. They're just they're buying up everything.
It's just we don't even care. If you go to them, I feel like they wouldn't even. If you submitted something to them, I don't even know if they'd look at the form. Just you're in.
You're in.
Yeah, as long as it's not snuff films or whatever.
Oh man, they might take a snuff film if it's from New Delhi or something. You never know. Anything else? Any other movies?
I can.
Any other gems? What do you got?
I watched a bunch of stuff that I can just speed round real quick if you want. So I watched. Let's see. I got watched that Nicolas Cage movie Color Out of Space recently. Have you heard of that?
Okay.
It's.
I feel like I've heard of it. I didn't know Nicolas Cage was in it.
Yeah, it's kind of like his. Nicolas Cage seems like he's trying to go for a Cage-assance thing now. After the success of Mandy and Mom and Dad, he seems like he's kind of starting to get out of his I'm doing a bunch of movies to pay my back taxes to the IRS rut that he was in for a decade. So
he's got to pay off that pyramid or whatever.
Yeah, the dinosaur skull money. So yeah, he's in this movie. It's called Color Out of Space. It's by Richard Stanley, who is the guy from that Island of Dr. Moreau documentary that I think I told you about. It's basically this guy was a promising young kind of horror movie director in the early 90s, and when he did 2 movies that were okay indie movies, and then all of a sudden he got an offer from the studio to direct The Island of Dr. Moreau. And he was 25 years old, and it was Brando and a bunch of big actors, and he it was apparently one of the most disastrous productions ever, and he got fired very early on into it, and it torpedoed his career like up until now. Basically, so this is pretty much the first movie he's done since then. So I was interested to see it, and it's a little weird. It's a kind of an acquired taste because it's got that it's based on an H.P. Lovecraft story, so it's got a lot of that sort of stuff in it, a lot of body horror, a lot of weird creatures. It's it's supposed to be about like there's this family that's living on a farm, and basically a meteor lands in their backyard one day, and weird flowers start growing around it, and weird things start happening around the house, and they all kind of start hallucinating, and there's creatures and madness and all that H.P. Lovecraft stuff, and it does have a Nicolas Cage slowly going insane performance in it, so it's pretty good. Oh, and yeah, there's definitely like one scene in particular that is a huge homage to The Thing, so it's got that sort of weird kind of gross body horror stuff in it, so it's pretty cool. Nice. Definitely recommend it. Not quite as good as Mandy and all that stuff, but I'm very glad that Nicolas Cage is on the upswing, and I look forward to seeing him play Joe Exotic in like a year or whatever.
Who did they announce who's going to play Joe Exotic?
Oh yeah, it's him.
Didn't Rob Lowe? I thought Rob Lowe was playing Joe Exotic.
I heard Nicolas Cage, but I haven't checked on it in a while.
I hope Nicolas.
You know that he's going to do it, and he's totally going to get nominated for an Oscar just because it's the popular thing or whatever, even if it's bad.
Yeah, I hope. I hope I'm not right. Yeah, I hope Rob Lowe is not.
Yeah,
it seems like such a weird.
That's a different type of over the top in a not good way.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I watched that. I watched this movie on Shudder. I can't remember. I had a couple of people tell me about this too, but can't remember you were telling me about it. But have you heard of The Pool? It's this movie from, I think it's from Thailand. But it's basically it's basically that movie Crawl meets Life of Pi. It's about a guy who has to clean an Olympic-sized swimming pool, and he falls asleep in a raft while it's draining, and he's stuck inside the pool, and there's no way out. It's one of those things you would never ever think about in a million years, and it's like
he can't reach up to the rails or anything. There's no way out.
It's super duper huge. It's one of those pools that has like a diving board that is like 3 stories high kind of thing. And so like there's a ladder, but like the ladder is like 10, 12 feet up or something like that. And there's other things in the pool. Like basically he was a PA on a music video shoot or something like that, and it was his job to drain the pool. And like they make a big point at the beginning of this is the last day before it's closed for the season, you gotta lock up. And one of the weirdest aspects of the movie is it's a movie that's sponsored by Pizza Hut, down to the point where there's pointedly a Pizza Hut delivery guy who comes and delivers a pizza, and it plays into the plot. And but so yeah, the movie is like, it's kind of like weird, but like it is very good at just torturing you with like just dangling freedom in front of this guy's face, and like always taking it away, like like he's always just out of reach of getting to the edge of the so I forgot the
what is the crawl factor?
I forgot the selling point of the movie is so he's stuck in the pool, but then there's a crocodile or an alligator that crawls into the pool, so he's stuck in this pool with an alligator for like days, and there's a bunch of other stuff that happens, and it's it's pretty grueling. But yeah, the alligator, it's a CGI alligator, and it's not like photorealistic or anything, but it's convincing enough, and the situations are like visceral enough that there's things with fingernails. Oh, I should warn you, anybody that's a dog lover, I gotta give the horror movie trigger warning about dog stuff. Yeah. So, and there's a bunch of other stuff. There's things where his girlfriend comes by, and there's things that develop out of that, but it's good. Like if you turn it on, they do that thing where the movie starts out, and the first like 4 minutes it like jumps to like towards the end of the movie, so you know how bad it gets, and then it rewinds to the beginning and kind of shows you how he gets there. But it's actually a really fun movie. Me and my brother were like screaming. It's one of those movies where you're just like screaming at the television because the character actually does the things that you would think to do, and still things keep not working out. So yeah, it's a good little film. Definitely recommend it.
But it's from Thailand?
I think it's from Thailand. Yeah, it's foreign. But it's on Shudder, I think now.
Goddamn Shudder.
Yeah.
I wish I had Shudder. That's one that escapes me.
I mean, I'm using my friend's account. I need to take the plunge. I only use it every once in a while, but so what else I got? So on the other end of the spectrum, won't dwell on it too long. I watched that Will Ferrell movie. Kind of the opposite of Palm.
Oh shit!
Yeah, the Eurovision.
Yeah, thanks for taking one for the team because I'm not watching that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
No, I didn't realize that it's a real show. It's a real thing.
Yeah,
it's
I mean, dude, that thing is.
We don't know anything about it. I didn't know. I didn't know it's a real thing.
I think it's bigger than American Idol because it's all of Europe and pretty much all the rest of the world. But yeah, apparently, like they make jokes about it, how like the streets shut down when it's the Eurovision finals. But no, apparently that's the way it is, and like. Half of people watch it ironically, and half of people are like, "No, this is the most important thing ever." I've never really seen the appeal of most of those types of shows. Like same thing with American Idol and all that. Like it's just not really my jam. And yeah, the movie's not good. You watch the trailer, it's exactly what you expect it to be. But that being said, it's not good like Palm Springs, but it is still weirdly a comfort food movie. Like it was one of those things where I watched it in pieces, and I literally it was like I just needed something to have.
How many times did it take you to finish it?
Like 4 or 5. I watched it in 20-minute increments, falling to. It was the thing I would go back to turn on when I was not awake enough to follow something that actually had a plot. I still like Will Ferrell, even though his shtick's old, and I love Rachel McAdams in anything. And it's not funny, but there's like a handful of times I laughed, and it's exactly what to expect. It's like middling Will Ferrell stuff, but sometimes it's
who was the third guy that they got into it? When I saw the trailer, I was shocked he agreed to do it.
I think it's Dan,
because I thought he was better than this.
Dan Stevens, is that who you're thinking of? The guy from
that's it.
Yeah,
Yep.
He's great. He's actually one of the better parts of the movie. He's pretty funny. The other thing I hate is I'm just I don't usually like extended sequences of musical. I don't mind musical stuff, but if it's just a lot of portions of these movies are Will Ferrell or whoever singing kind of either intentionally bad or just bad because they needed to make a song to have them compete in this. The song that they compete in Eurovision with is kind of annoying. They play it in the trailer and then you hear it 8 more times throughout the movie, and it just gets kind of old. So breaking it up into 20-minute increments I think was the right way to go about it for me, because usually I found 1 or 2 jokes, 1 or 2 things that might have actually made me laugh in that 20-minute period, and then I would pass out. So whatever. I'm actually okay, semi glad to have dumb comedies, because I've definitely been having a hard time keeping up with all the exhausting stuff we got out there. But yeah, it's just about what you expect. Not great, very forgettable. Moving on, what else we got? I watched the Superman Red Sun on DC Universe. Another account my friend lets me use, and it's
just get into that. Is this one of the animated ones?
Yeah, so it's kind of animated in the style somewhat of that older Superman cartoon, or the one when we were kids. It's somewhat reminiscent of it. It's one of my favorite comic stories.
Batman animated series.
Yeah,
kind of style.
Yeah, a little. It's definitely meant to kind of call back to it. It's animated a little bit more detailed, but it's a good one though. It's a great, I always love some of my favorite comic stories are always the ones where they take the mythos and they kind of do a weird inversion of it. In Marvel they were called What Ifs, and in DC they're called Elseworlds, but it's just what if Batman and Superman were basically Indiana Jones in the 40s or so. They always just take the mythology and add a weird twist to it, and so in this one it's what if Superman when he was a baby flying to Earth, landed in Soviet Russia instead of America, and how that would greatly affect history. And so it's all him kind of becoming leader of the Russian government and it going into this war with America led by Lex Luthor, and it's really interesting. It's actually like interesting kind of comments on like, you know, government and like, you know, a lot of themes that you would expect to see from like something about like Soviet communism issues and how power corrupts and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's really good, and like they did a great job of adapting the comic. It's very true to the original. So, and you know, it's like 90 minutes, so I definitely recommend it. And what else we got? I watched the Beastie Boys documentary on Apple recently.
Shit.
It is really good. I wouldn't say quite cried, but I definitely like got a little teary-eyed.
You almost cried?
A little bit, because it is like
Jesus.
Yeah, you know, it's the way it's almost like a concert film, and it's all just the remaining two Beastie Boys on stage. I guess they were touring as a concert for a while doing this, and then they filmed it, and that's what this documentary was. But yeah, a lot of it is just framed around the MCA, who's the kind of the Beastie Boys founding member who died a few years back, and really like it's amazing how personal it is. It has all this like home video footage of them when they were kids, and they really go in depth about just how they were, and they still feel like they kind of have that vibe, even though like they're looking rough now. They're looking like a couple of dads and everything like that. But
yeah,
it's funny because when you see them on stage and then they cut back to some of the video footage of them, especially like the early stuff, like it's kind of hard to tell who is who because their faces have changed so much, except for MCA, who's you know not on stage. But yeah, it's really good. It's very funny, and yeah, like they start crying by the end because they just talk about how incredibly influential MCA was to them, and it was interesting too because like I just like knew they got famous in the 80s and kind of just assumed they had no issues going forward, but it was apparently like the difference between the first and second albums is huge, and that really was a huge risk. You know, Paul's Boutique was not a hit when it first came out, and no one really gave a shit. And just the stuff that they did, I really had no idea. So it's a very good movie. I highly suggest it. You know, even if you don't know that much about the Beastie Boys, it's a great watch for sure. Moving on. Swear I don't have that many left.
No, don't worry about it.
So I just two real quick that I did not finish. I started these, but one was they're both on Netflix. One was An Evening with Beverly, Luff, Linn, which is stars Aubrey Plaza, and it's I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's from the director of The Greasy Strangler.
It sounds familiar, like not the Greasy Strangler, but the other one sounds familiar. But
it was so.
I know
you've probably seen it. You know, it's been on the Netflix, new bar for a minute. And it's got like Craig Robinson. It's got a lot of like famous, funny people in it. But yeah, so Greasy Strangler is like one of the weirdest, most disgusting movies I've ever seen. So I was very interested in seeing this now that the guy that made it is working with like famous actors like Aubrey Plaza, and it's very good. Like I haven't finished it just because it's same thing. I'm kind of like breaking up my movies into chunks, but it's a nonsensical plot. I'm not even going to go into it because it's the guy kind of makes his movies in a very surreal kind of Adult Swim sort of way, but even weirder than that, if it's possible to believe. So yeah, I recommend that, and I also recommend The Greasy Strangler if anyone's got a chance to see it. And on top of that, I watched the first half an hour of The Five Bloods, which I was interested to see.
Yeah, I actually saw that a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
So did you like? Because I was into it until they started doing the flashbacks, and then I was like, "Oh God, wait a minute! Are the old guys also playing themselves as old in the flash?" Yeah, like that. That part broke the movie for me. I was actually like, I don't know I need to come back to it or something, because I kept on like laughing when I saw that, and the movie was working for me before that too. Like I was digging the way it was shot, and like I liked the change of aspect ratio and stuff like that. And then I don't know, I think Spike Lee takes these big swings sometimes that are like they work sometimes, and then sometimes they don't work at all, and
yeah, that was a choice that I don't think worked out real well.
Do you think it like ruined the movie? Because that was like, I was like, I'm gonna come back to this when I'm in a more of a right mindset to see it, but like it was like somebody switched to hit a switch for me or something like that, because I was like, oh man, I can't keep watching it if the whole movie's going to be a bunch of old guys running around pretending to be 20-year-olds or whatever.
Yeah, no, that didn't work for me. I agree. Some of it was okay, and then some of it I just
I feel like Spike Lee's like kind of a
right
mixed bag like that. Like he's can be really good, but he always takes big swings, but sometimes they don't work out. So I don't know. Maybe I'll watch the rest of it and I'll get a better idea. Okay, so moving on. Only got 3 left. Well, kind of. But so
holy shit.
No, two left.
You're killing it, bro. You're killing it. No. Do as many as you want.
So I watched this movie last night on Netflix that just came out called Tread. Have you heard of it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I think you would dig this actually. So it's I kind of vaguely remember hearing about this. Like there was a guy in Colorado, Granby, Colorado, a small town, middle of nowhere, who built, I think at the time the newspapers termed it the Killdozer, but it was basically this guy has a grudge and he's an excellent welder from the military. And the movie goes into all of this. Basically, this guy built a reinforced bulldozer and drove around the small town and just like took out all of the property of all the people he had a grudge against, and like SWAT teams and tanks.
I remember this story. I know the story, but I did not know there was a movie.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It was a docker, right?
Yeah, the guy, before he did all this, he made a recordings. It was one of those like, I'm going to make a recording so people know why I did what I'm going to do, and people will talk about me for years to come as to why I did this. So he is the movie's narrator, which is kind of crazy. And then they got a lot of, good... It's not... I'm not going to say it's like the best documentary of all time, but it is entertaining. And the way they set it up is interesting, because the first 20 minutes of the movie, it's like... he's basically talking about, like, he moved into this town, and there's these people on this town council that were not friendly to him, and even though he's this diligent businessman trying to make it on his own, they kept on trying to hit him with these fines and these fees and restrictions, and basically were unfair to him. And the first 20 minutes are like, oh man, that poor guy. And then
he's pretty sympathetic.
Yeah, and then second part of the movie is they actually start talking to all those people he was referring to, and they're like, I have no idea what he's talking about. He never said any, you find out that this guy is bitter about all this stuff that is like all in his head, and it gets a little bit more and more. It gains momentum as it goes on. The first 45 minutes, like, I enjoyed it, but I could see people thinking it might be kind of slow because it's all about town politics and everything like that. But then basically, when it goes into the guy making the Killdozer, it's a great thing for a low budget movie, because they were able to do the reenactments for it, because it's expensive to make, but it's still fairly reasonable for like a movie budget. So they do reenactments. They rebuilt the Killdozer, and they intercut it with like file footage of all these like home videos of all these people, like cops hanging off the roof of this thing, and it's crazy how reinforced the guy made it, and the fact that he was able to, he really did think of everything. And so it's very, very interesting. It's kind of scary. I feel like it's a good, fortunately, it's a good movie for our age. And okay, so the last main thing I have on my list, I actually rented this movie. I feel like, I'm starting to feel guilty.
What a sucker.
Yeah.
Renting.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep some money in the industry. I wasn't like super duper duper satisfied. Like I rented this movie called Yes God Yes that just came out.
Okay, I saw this like on Rotten Tomatoes or something, but man, what I'm trying to remember.
It's got the girl
No,
from
no, go,
Stranger Things in
yeah.
it, the teenage
Okay,
daughter in it.
the kind of annoying sister.
Yeah, the one that's like,
What's her name?
yeah. So, and it was okay. It was kind of cute. It's basically, it's kind of like that movie Saved a little bit. If you ever saw that, it's a girl in a
Mm-hmm.
Christian Catholic school that's has grown up really repressed and doesn't know anything about sex, and it's set in the year 2000. So, it's all about her kind of discovering all these, like, being naive about the world, and then because of that kind of being taken advantage of, her, you know, like she goes into an internet chat room and like random dudes start trying to cyber sex her and all this other stuff, and she feels guilty about masturbating, and so it's funny. It's a little bit one note. Like I feel like the girl from Stranger Things is she's good in it, but her character kind of just goes through the whole movie with her like confused and scared look on her face the whole time. So it's funny, but it's you know, a little one night. There's some good gags in it though, you know, boner jokes and whatnot. But yeah, I would say wait till it comes on Amazon Prime. Like after I rented it, I was like, damn it, you know, I feel like this will come on Amazon in like 1 month.
Dave's gonna yell at me for this one.
Yeah, it was. It was between that and The Rental. I wanted to watch that Alison Brie movie, The Rental, and I ended up going with this. And I feel like I would have been more satisfied with the other one. But yeah,
Dude, I saw the Tax Collector, the Shia LaBeouf movie, is apparently out there floating around on demand VOD.
yeah, the one that
But I couldn't find it anywhere. That's one I might be willing to actually
just to
plunk down my hard-earned $6.99 for.
just to see Shia LaBeouf with those crazy tattoos or whatever.
Yeah, because is this the Ayer? Is this his Ayers?
Yeah,
Is this
yeah,
his
it's the new David Ayer
It's
one.
his, right?
It's definitely seems
Yeah.
very, you know, Training Day and all that sort of stuff. All of his movies seem like Training Day, but I just think it's crazy, man. I like that Shia LaBeouf would like I appreciate his commitment to getting like the crazy chest tattoos and all that stuff, but I'm just like, man, it's gonna be so much harder to cover up for all your other roles that you're gonna have to do now. Or
He has so many weird tattoos, I think, as it is. You know.
did he? Because I didn't know. I know he had some, but like the stuff he got for this one, I feel like I saw a picture of him shirtless, like, you know, a few years ago, and he had a few, and like for this one, he like just the whole chest is covered head to toe and stuff with like, you know, like gang signs and shit.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Good old Shia LaBeouf. Yeah, I might be into seeing that at some point. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it though. I watched Midnight Gospel. I watched a little bit of that show, The Eddie, the Damien Chazelle thing. Yeah, I'm trying to find all these shows that nobody's watching. Oh, and then of course I watched a bunch of things on Quibi, which I assume are just not even worth talking about, because that.
Well, I mean, you know.
It's going to be defunct in a month, so let's not even kid ourselves, you know.
I keep seeing random people going, oh, my Quibi show, oh, that Kevin Hart show,
Yeah,
whatever the hell that is. It's just getting pumped. Every freaking commercial I see is about Kevin Hart's Quibi.
Yeah, I think
if you're Kevin, what are you thinking?
yeah, I mean, keep in mind he didn't know. I'd be interested to see how hard it is for them to get shows made, because it's like, you know, they've probably filmed all this stuff like a year or so ago, and like all of it's just been in the pipeline. But now that kind of the stench of death is on the network and it's kind of getting a bad name, I don't know if, I wonder if people are going to be a little bit more hesitant to sign up for it. But I also assume, you know, the most of the networks seem to be like, a lot of their shows seem to be built on the big stars that they can get, and I think it's just because, you know, since the content is shorter form, you can probably afford to pay stars their obscene, you know, price tags for, like, you know, coming in and doing like an hour's worth of work or something like that. But yeah, I will have to admit that the Kevin Hart show is kind of semi entertaining. But yeah, it's a lot of crap mostly.
So can you explain one thing for me? Is he Kevin Hart trying to get in shape for a action role, or is he someone trying to be an action actor? It's not clear to me what I'm watching.
Kevin Hart playing himself, and the premise is Kevin Hart in the show is sick of being known as like the comedy sidekick guy for The Rock and all those things, so he wants to be his own solo action star. So he goes to get training from John Travolta, who is not John Travolta in the show. He's just playing a stunt guy trainer, kind of. Or you think he might just be a crazy guy. Because the way the show starts out is Kevin Hart walks into a warehouse and John Travolta is getting jumped by a bunch of guys, and Kevin Hart gets knocked out by a bat, and then John Travolta wakes him up and was like, hey, that was all a test, but like you don't know if John Travolta is fucking with him or not, like if John Travolta is just trying to take advantage of him. I did not think I was gonna like it, but it's a pretty low bar, but it's one of the better shows on Quibi. Kevin Hart's kind of funny, and it's got that girl from Game of Thrones in it too. The chick that gets her head cut off in the last season, the slave girl or something.
She was great. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember her name, but
she's been in some things lately. So, and speaking of Game of Thrones, I also was watching. They have this other show on Quibi called Survive that has I forgot her name, but the girl who played Jean Grey in the most recent X-Men, Sophie Turner, something like that.
Did we talk about that one?
I don't remember. I don't think I was watching it then.
She's trapped on a mountain or something?
Yeah, like she's basically...
I know I downloaded the trailer and put it into the Quibi segment. So I remember watching that friggin' trailer footage 10 million times.
I usually... like I said, I only watched the last season of Game of Thrones, and I did not like her.
You only watched the last season?
I watched like the first half of the first season and the last season, and I just kind of got the cliff notes on the rest, which is...
Are you serious?
Yeah, I know, but I that's a whole thing, but yeah, like
I mean,
I'm not even...
Hold on, you just bypassed the actual good sections of Game of Thrones?
Well, if we're talking about shows that have shitty endings, I feel not bad.
That's like
now.
Lost. If you watch the first season of Lost and the last season, you're like, eh.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I didn't feel guilty. Like, the plan had always been I was going to wait to jump on the bandwagon until the show was wrapping up, and then I just binge everything. Like, that's kind of what I've done in the past. But, like, I started doing it, and that's, like, a lot of rape and murder and all that other stuff. It was just, like, felt like a lot for me to take in so quick. And same thing, I'm starting to get this fatigue where it's like, okay, cool, I have 1 month to binge 40 hours of content, and it just kind of gets exhausting. So I started to do it with Ross for the for the first 6 episodes, and after a while I was like, you know what, I don't care enough. And I think the other thing was the final season had already premiered, so my brother, who had watched every other season before, was like, yeah, sure, I'll watch it with you. And then I felt bad because he was like, we were like a week or two into the new season, and like he was trying to not be spoiled about it, but he was like being held up because of me. So I was just like, fuck it, I don't care enough. I'll just watch it. And I felt vindicated because I didn't really feel that disappointed by how apparently terrible the ending was.
No, but like you should have suffered with the rest of us, you savage. Like you should have put in the time. Put in the hours.
I've done that. I did that with Lost. I've done that with so many other shows, and I've been disappointed before. Come on.
Game of Thrones is another level of hype and bullshit, man, and book reading and trying to decide for the Reddit theories. I mean, like Mike and Nebby, our good friends Mike and Nebby, they were like they were trying to put off watching the show until
the books came out.
George R. Martin finished the books because they were.
You'll be waiting till 2035 for that, or
I think they gave up a couple of years ago. I think they just decided, fuck it, we got to just watch the show. But they were trying to avoid. I remember talking to Mike about this. He was like, "I'm trying to avoid me and Nebby," because they were like, he and Nebby would have like discussions about Game of Thrones and go on Reddit, and they're in the Reddit theories, and I think Castro was getting in there with them and everything. But they were like obsessed with with all the fan theories of Jon Snow's parents and all that shit. And they were trying to put off watching the show. They weren't like show people who got into the books. They got into the books before ever somehow watching the show because they're big into fantasy.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Like Mike and Rob.
Well,
love fantasy books
I
and
know
all that shit?
Mike does, but yeah, that well, and aren't they like they've been the thing I wasn't aware of until after the show ended. It was like, everyone was like, oh yeah, we're gonna wait till the last book comes out. We're gonna wait till the last book comes out. I didn't realize that the last 3 books or 4 books or however many books in the series, didn't he start the series in like 1990 or something? Like, doesn't it take him like
1996?
Okay, so it takes him like a decade to write a book. So like, yeah, of course he's not gonna get it done in time.
I remember. Like I was living in New York when the last book came out, and that was 2011.
Right. I remembered that summer because every party I went to, everyone was like, "Did you read the latest book?" And yeah, everyone was gossiping about it and shit.
But like, that's so insane, man. I mean, I don't know what he's doing, but get it together, George.
I mean, whatever.
I guess no one cares.
Yeah.
Is anyone eagerly waiting for the next book? At this point, I don't know. Does anyone care anymore?
I mean,
I'm
sure there's like plenty of fans of the books that do, but yeah, I mean, dude's like, I almost wonder if it's like a joke. He's just got a big manuscript that's like Jack Torrance, just all work and no play, makes Jack a dull, whatever.
Well, if I had a book that I could, upon delivery, I get a check for what, $20 million? I don't know what do you think the next Game of Thrones book is worth? What do you think that check is? I would be scribbling my ass off, but I guess I'm not George. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie. I always look at him and I'm like, he's kind of old and he's a little on the heavy side. So I'm like wondering, with most artists that seem kind of like older and everything like that, I always wonder. I would be like trying to wrap things up faster just in interest of getting the work out.
Oh, dude, I have a whole like treatment screenplay based around, it's a concept, but basically it involves capturing or kidnapping George R. R. Martin in a way, and sort of do you ever see Fanboys? Where they break into.
I've not seen it, but no,
it's like that, but. So Fanboys is great because a group of huge Star Wars fans. One of them has cancer. They're young. They're like young. I don't know. They're like early 20s, mid 20s, whatever. One of them has cancer, and it was made like 2010, 2011, maybe something like that. But 2009.
Yeah,
but it's set before. It's set in like the 90s. Prior to episode 1 coming out in like 99, I want to say.
98, yeah.
And so their whole thing is like they break into Neverland Ranch to try to find a copy of the movie so that their friend can watch it before he dies. And they get to, I think, I don't want to spoil it, but that's the whole point. But my movie would revolve around squeezing George R. R. Martin in a basement, putting his head in a vice like Casino, and figuring out all those.
So you're just trying to do a Misery.
Well, not a Misery, but like, how dare you?
You're talking about torturing the author to like get more.
Well, the difference is that he finished a series, and she wasn't satisfied with how the series finished. Right. My man has not finished the damn series. I might die before George dies. So I'm not willing to roll those dice.
Okay, so this is more like a Marathon Man situation. You're gonna be there. You're gonna be extracting teeth from George R. R. Martin. Where is the manuscript?
Well, I'm just gonna knock on the door as I slide his dog dish under the door. How many pages today, George? Okay, keep me posted. It sounds like you get an extra scoop.
Oh man.
But we'll work it out. We're talented guys. You know what I mean? Well, I think there's a lot to go from there. But basically the idea is capturing some guy that there's only like one, he knows how the whole thing is going to go and he's writing it and whatever. And there's just so much hype around a project like a J.K. Rowling or something, right? Like what's the last Harry Potter? Something like that. You capture them and kind of just because you can't wait. You know what I mean? Like that's the whole idea. So we'll start.
I'm into it. Yeah, anything with crazy fans, I always think that's a good jumping off point for a horror movie, for sure.
And he just lives in Albuquerque. I can drive it. You know what I mean? It's like he's just living on some estate in a neighborhood in Albuquerque or something. So
I bet you he lives in a house that is like you would not think George R.R. Martin lives there. Like it's like a
that's exactly right. Like he's got no yard. It's all like pebbles and shit.
Yeah, yeah, some really kitschy shit on it or something.
Yeah. So well, there you go. You got any other things? Are we gonna save them for next time? What do we got coming out? We got the frigging trailer for I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Finally,
to be honest, that trailer did not really.
So
I was like, is this the same book that I read?
Well, so that's one of the reasons why I was excited about this movie coming out, because apparently Charlie Kaufman even said he expanded upon the book a lot because the book was not...
If it's wildly different from the book, I might be into it.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I was hoping for, like Charlie Kaufman doing his Charlie Kaufman thing. Like even, we'll get into it when we finally one day do the review on it or whatever, but like...
Yep. Yeah. Comes out September 4th or something?
Yeah, I think it comes out a month from now. So yeah, like September 4th. I'm actually reading.
You can count on our review by October.
Yeah, damn well better because we
mark my words.
We
before
literally
October 1st, you will have our review.
We literally read the book for this thing. What was it? 6 months ago, something like that. Like
I think it was 2019 when I.
Yeah, it was definitely sometime last year, and I was like, I kept on being like, they're gonna drop it next week. Just you wait, or something. I'm actually I'm reading this other book. Charlie Kaufman wrote a book right now that I'm reading that is very Charlie Kaufman. So, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. If nothing else, just because we've been waiting so damn long for it. But I also I really like Charlie Kaufman, so I'll be interested to see how this turns out.
Yeah, I was reading the comments on the Netflix post or whatever, and people, no one seems to realize that this is based on a book. They're just like, wow, what, Charlie Kaufman. You could easily quickly kind of figure some of this stuff out, but no, I'm not gonna leave it to the YouTube comments to figure it out.
Well, we'll be the select few who is privileged enough to read the book.
I just can't believe one guy doesn't go, you know what, actually, you know what I mean? Just spoils the whole book in these YouTube comments. People don't do it.
I'm curious about that. That's the thing I'm most interested about. And once again, we'll get into it whenever we do this review. But yeah, there's elements in the book that probably would not have made for the most thrilling cinematic storytelling. And I feel like Charlie Kaufman doing his weird surrealism thing will kind of... I'd be interested to see how that translates in the film, what he changes, and especially stuff with certain spoilery elements that I'll be interested in. Also, I thought it was interesting. I'm curious, is the whole movie going to be in 4:3? Because did you notice that how in the trailer, like it's not, the aspect ratio is boxy. It's like it doesn't take up the full frame. So I've been noticing more and more filmmakers have been doing that lately. Like they did that with that movie, A Ghost Story, that came out a couple of years ago. 4:3 makes you the movie feel a little bit more
makes you feel claustrophobic. Yeah.
And I think
no, well,
what was it?
No, go ahead.
That Wes Anderson movie from a couple of years ago, the one that's in Prussia or something like that. The hotel something or other.
Not
Grand Budapest Hotel. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was, no, that was one other thing. Thanks for reminding me. I hated about Umbrella Academy is that they frame it in a. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. What do they? When you film, like it'd be like a flashback scene where the corners of the screen are dark, and then it kind of has like a fuzziness on the outside.
It's like a vignette.
So it's kind of like a flashback-y thing. What if you made the whole thing look like that?
No. Oh, is it that thing?
What if you made the entire show that?
Do they do... Because I felt like I noticed a little bit, and I kind of feel like a lot of TV shows do this too much, where it's called tilt-shift photography, where, especially when things are supposed to be intense, or they're just trying to make things feel weird. It's like this lens that kind of makes it so half of the frame is...
It was almost like fisheye, but not
Yeah,
quite,
and then
right?
like half of it's out of focus. Like, but artistically, like it's a special type of lens that like makes the like basically split down the middle. Like half of it's in focus, half of it is not, and yeah, it's I feel like that is really overused these days, especially in like TV. But yeah, man, you're really not selling me on watching the rest of this Umbrella Academy season.
Go for it. I mean, it's just little weird things like that really bothered me. I thought if it's just a weird thing to just make consistent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It ruined, and it was outdoor scenes. So it was an outdoor, I remember it being really brutal when they had this big final showdown thing that's outdoors. But you're watching it and you're like, why are the corners black and the rest of the street? Like, what is going on? Why are you guys doing this? What? So,
it's old timey. Yo, you should if you have HBO Max now, I recommend you check it because I
have HBO Max.
Or yeah, well, so
you're talking to the audience?
Well, I'm talking to you, like specifically, like I'd be interested to see because I think Doom Patrol, which is a DC Universe show, I think that's on HBO Max. And have you watched that yet? Or
not yet because I'm like an abuse survivor.
Yeah, you don't want to jump back into
the comic adapted things. I'm like really having a hard time.
I think.
But I've heard Doom Control is great, but I might I don't know if my soul can handle another.
Yeah, I will say like the thing I like about Doom Patrol because I was a big fan of the comics back in the day, and it does actually kind of stay true to it. It's the comics were very weird, and it's like very specific. It's like I don't know. It's a good analog to the Umbrella Academy. I like Doom Patrol. I think they do certain things better. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be interested to see what you thought of it. It's definitely similar vibes to Umbrella Academy, though. So if you're kind of sick of weird, quirky Tim Burton characters,
well, I hate the kind of like I don't know how else to describe it, but comic adapted material designed for
TV, like CW.
Kind of but the kind of the CW sheen of these kind of weird, like too cutesy, too cool for school, like millennial, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer-esque kind of like. I can't stand it. I hate it.
Yeah, I can't do. I've still not watched like all of the Berlanti stuff. I have not really checked out. Like I know that stuff is everywhere now, and I pretty much agree. I think we're on the same. Like and it's just not my thing these days. I'm too old and jaded. Like I can't really.
It's like the nerd crew. You know what I mean? It's like the nerd crew would love it. Totally. You know what I mean? Like the you know, and YouTube is like breaking down. Oh, it's incredible! Yeah. Oh, another incredible season. Like it's the hype, the super hype fanboy convention professional nerd. Like I hate it, dude. I can't stand it. It's like, who are these people that you're making this for? You know what I mean? Like I don't get it, dude. I can't handle it.
Yeah, it's exhausting. I can't really, and it sucks because I feel like I. Do you think like things like superheroes and all that stuff being so mainstream now is like taking the fun out of it a little bit, or is it like I feel like it's kind of it's very old. This is not a hot take, but it's just like the franchisation of everything is kind of like I'm tired. It's like let's make the Runaways for Hulu. Well, my cats are chasing each other. They're not fans.
But just like, no, they're not. But just kind of like, I'm an old man sitting on my porch yelling at kids. But like, I can't stand like the young generation that everything is being geared towards now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I like maybe they love it. I don't know.
I'm definitely.
I just think it sucks. Like I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's cute. I don't think it's interesting. I don't think it's smart.
The thing I don't like about it is with a lot of that sort of stuff. is it feels cynical because it feels so formulaic that it was like, this is what those kids will go for. You know, like that's the thing that gets me is I feel like whenever
Totally.
I see something like that, and it also is just like because that's like, I don't know, that's such a like all the CW stuff specifically too and everything. It's just like I can't get into it. It feels too much like fluff, which is stupid because it's like, I should either get on the train or not. But like I think I'm just tired of it for now.
I need. I just need. I don't know. Find myself going back into like harder sci-fi type stuff because I just can't handle. Yeah, I just want to go back into weirder, darker, crazy shit because I just. Yeah, the 100% Rotten Tomatoes, like just just can't do it anymore.
See, you're the guy that Amazon Prime is geared towards, because you notice how Amazon Prime is all like, this is all stuff for baby boomers, and I feel like all of their programming is like mostly geared towards like people that are older and have money, at least like original programming.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I feel like are you gonna check out? Aren't they coming out with that? What's that Asimov book you were reading? Foundation, something like that.
Oh God, man, maybe. I mean, the show looks interesting, but
The
again,
book
they
was
kind
rough.
of like Well, the book is impossible, dude.
Yeah, I can't.
I mean, it's boring as shit. I mean, it is. You can fight me.
No, I believe you.
Find me.
It's somebody that is still stuck on page like 500 or something of Dune, or 200 or something like that. I feel you. I don't. Some of this.
Yeah, Dune. If you think Dune is bad, Dune is like I can't even make an analogy that would suit how boring Foundation is.
Really?
But yeah, well, I mean, it looks cool. The show looks cool. Yeah, I think they gender flip. Every character in the book is just a white male, so they're like, let's make the main character, which there's multiple main characters. So like, I don't know how they do it, but I guess from my gathering of the trailer, I think they changed one of the characters into like a black female young girl or something. So I'm interested to see how
that they
that's
do
all gonna
that
work,
and everything.
but,
Yeah. There's a few,
so-
like I think was it? I've been seeing ads. They're doing Brave New World on Peacock, the NBC
on
streaming
Peacock.
app.
You got the Peacock?
It's just like, man, there's gonna be so many. Like I'm just like, these shows, like I don't know what is NBC gonna sell me to be like, yes, more like are they gonna just try to launch a whole network just based on basically Friends reruns or
Do they have? I thought Friends was on HBO Max. The God.
Well, so actually that's a good question, but see, that's why I'm confused, because it seems like HBO Max is able to be so powerful because they're kind of allocating other stuff from other networks as well as their own original things. So I think that's why they're having trouble. Poor peasants like myself who are stuck in Rokuville are not able to view the majesty of the Max.
So someday, my friend, someday. Keep your head
They
up.
just discontinued the HBO
you're-
Go on my Roku. It's just like to add insult to injury. It's like, oh yes.
Coronavirus is now this.
know. Huh, nobody understands my pain. Yeah, one day I'll get on that shit though. I want to see the Promised Land, David. Show me the Max.
It's great, dude. It's great. Let me tell you something. A little South Park razzle dazzle here. Watch some Scooby Doo if you want. Ashes in the Kitchen. Watching the Jetsons and some Scooby. The movie selection, second to none, my friend. So treat yourself if you can, and escape your chains and shackles of Roku. And get some sort of device that can handle downloading the HBO Max app.
Got the damn Roku. I just got the shackles. Let me enjoy them for a minute. HBO.
Well, it sounds like you clearly are.
Yeah, HBO Max. Yeah, actually, I've gotten quite good use out of it, so I'm not really complaining. Honestly, there's just as if it's not obvious, there's too much shit to watch now. So I'm the last thing I need is more options. I'm good. I got my Quibi. That's all I need.
So there you go. Grab a roll of toilet paper, hit a Quibi. You know what I mean? You're all set.
I might even.
Well, there you go. You got anything else to ask, or we'll see you guys in another month and talk about
this damn. I'm waiting for them to delay this movie again, though. I feel like we jinxed it now or something.
What, Tenet?
Yeah, Tenet.
Which were you talking about?
I was going to say I'm thinking of ending things, but... Tenet I would love to see, but that's... going to have to fly to another country to see it or something.
Well, it's banned in China, right? It's too long or something?
Oh, I don't know. It's all... We'll just... You wait till VOD one day, and I'll just get the biggest projector possible. You can watch it in my basement.
Well, there we go. Well, we'll see you guys next time. Tenet will probably be out, by then, but or at least in China.
Yeah.
We're gonna go underground with it. George R. Martin might have a new book out. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what the future holds?
The world is full of possibilities. But
yeah, we'll keep watching. I'll keep watching HBO Max for all you guys out there. They're struggling. So
Yeah, stay tuned next time. I'm sure there'll be a plethora of other shit that has been dumped on streaming that we can regale you fine people with. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm finding those Amazon gems for you. What else? I tried to look for The Owners. Did you see the trailer for The Owners?
No.
With the new Maisie Williams. It's based on that French graphic novel.
Oh.
It's basically like, I think it's called A Night in the Moon, One Night in Moonlight, something like that. And it's in French, so, man, I don't know if we're going to make that one. But the graphic novel's in French, so I don't know if it's translated, but we'll keep an eye out. But that might be a good one for.
We will learn French, and we will then read the comic.
I'm learning. I'm trying to learn French on friggin' Duolingo. Yeah. So who knows? By the time the movie comes out, I might be half fluent.
You heard that here first, people. Next podcast, we will be speaking nothing but fluent French the whole time.
Exactly. At least me.
Yeah.
At least me. All right.
Oui, oui.
All right. Oui, oui. Exactly. I know croissant.
That's
chat is cat.
We're
coming right
let's
on.
not forget Allez du fromage. I learned that from Dexter's Laboratory. French omelet. That's
fromage is eat, right?
I think that's cheese.
Or
cheese.
Marge. Yeah, fromage is cheese. Yeah.
See, we're already off to a great start. We're halfway there.
Yeah, we're educating on you. Yeah, having a good time. But all right. Well, I'm brain dead at this point.
Yeah, this has been a good one. Long one.
Yeah. But thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. Keep an eye out. I'm going to try to break these out into segments so that they're a little bit more easily digestible. So keep an eye out on those. If you could subscribe, leave us a comment. Any recommendations for stuff that you want us to keep an eye out for, let us know. We are just garbage disposals. We'll watch anything. You know what I mean? Volpe's out there watching Will Ferrell Netflix movies. He's renting movies. I'm watching trash on Amazon. Whatever you got, just throw it at us. I'll watch stuff on YouTube. I'm watching crazy people on YouTube in time loops.
Watch anything.
I'm watching Zac Efron.
Watching Zac Efron.
I'm watching fucking Zac Efron trying to bro down science to me. You know what I mean? Drinking water from a water sommelier somewhere in LA.
Oh yeah, Dave,
right?
you're gonna be a water sommelier, man. That's I want to get into that racket. Yeah, this water.
The guy is incredible, by the way. Just go watch the water. Watch the water one. It can't be. It's gotta be like episode 2 or 3, and he drags. This is how stupid it is, dude. Who's the girl from? She's in the Sex Doll Quibi show, and she was on
Anna Kendrick.
Yes. He invites Anna Kendrick to a restaurant to talk to this water sommelier. The entire time, she keeps commenting out loud, Am I on a show? Like, am I being punked? Is this real?
Oh, man.
This can't be real. Are you guys... am I being punked? That's how stupid it is. She doesn't believe that she's on a real show where Zac Efron is trying to learn about water. That's how stupid it is. Imagine.
Ugh, man, that's all.
Go with God, vaya con Dios, and watch that stupid shit. Come back to me, leave me a comment. See what you guys think. If he's as stupid as I say, Leave me a comment.
Text 444 Efron for if you think he is as stupid as
you know
appears.
Zac Efron, let him know I'm thinking of him, okay? And I don't want him to hurt himself. So just, because he's doing dumb shit. He tore his knee out snowboarding or something. He's a danger to himself. You know what I mean? He needs just more smart people around him.
Dude, you're thinking
I'm not
about
saying
this
I'm
the
that
wrong
man,
way.
but I mean,
for once, I'm telling you to not have a conscience and just don't give a shit. You're talking about the possibility of making goop money. Get that goop money. Take advantage of these rich assholes. Just get in there, be a spiritual advisor or whatever. There's gold in them hills.
all right. Well, those Beverly Golden Hills. I've been up in those hills, man. I've been up in Truesdale. It's sweet up there. But anyway, if you know Zac Efron, tell him I'm trying to reach out. I don't have his number. But yeah, we'll keep watching Absolute Trash for you guys. And anything else you guys want us to take a look at that doesn't require me to have Peacock or to spend $6.99 of my hard-earned government cheese money. Let me know. We appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening. Like, share, subscribe if you care. I don't know. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.